Good morning. Welcome to the second session on customer relationship management. In fact, last week we have been discussing the fundamentals or the history as to how this concept got developed. So I think we have the entire class today in the morning. So if you can remember, we were talking about 5 concepts as to how the businesses can run and how from the early stages the businesses used to adapt those concepts. But we found that most of the concepts are not significantly important for businesses to meet their basic needs, such as profit maximization and sustainability. So if you really look at what we discussed about 5 concepts. That is the production concept, product concept, sales concept, and marketing concept, which businesses has been using for ages for them to become profitable and sustainable. So out of it, we came to the marketing concept, and we said that that is the best concept to be followed because it's more sustainable, and at the same time, it will give you the competitive advantage for a longer period, right? So those are the things that we discussed last week. And then we came to the final concept, social marketing concept, which actually talks about how businesses should run, looking at the company's benefit and at the same time the interest of the entire society and the consumer. So we said that it is important that the businesses give due recognition to ethical considerations and the social responsibility, so that they be able to have a longer business for a longer period with their consumers and have a better brand name or a very positive brand image among the consumers. So then we moved to the financial services environment, and we talked about the key characteristics of services, right? So we actually discussed why it is so challenging when it comes to the financial services in order to market it compared to products. And then we talked about intangibility, inseparability, variability, and the lack of ownership or no ownership of services, right? So those are the things we discussed last week. So you are sure to get a question from this particular area that we have discussed. And especially the key concepts are the importance of marketing concept, social marketing concept, and then the unique qualities of services and the challenges that it will create to you when it comes to your banking business, right? And so you have to get ready for such questions. So it's very important that during the class you understand about these potential questions from your areas that we discussed, so that I suggest you keep a track of it and then keep a record of it. That will help you to prepare yourself when you are looking through the sessions. So that those questions will certainly help you to improve your knowledge, plus to answer the exam easily, rather than we trying to understand questions at the end. Right. So as I told you, the key areas that may be questioned are the importance of marketing concept, social marketing concept, and then the areas such as what are the key unique characteristics of services and how those unique characteristics are posing challenges to the banking industry or the banks and the bank managers. Right. Fine. So with this, let us try to understand the introduction of customer relationship management. Right? Customer relationship management. Right. So we have discussed the ultimate aim of any business is to achieve success and remain successful. Now, this is what we have discussed, right? So we have no doubt about it. The second thing is that we also know this task is very easy. If you want to achieve successful and remain successful, you can do that if there are no competition, right? Am I right? So then you don't have to worry at all. Basically, you will operate without any competition, and then consumers will come to you anyway. So like long time back when we had Sri Lanka Telecom, for you to get a telephone, basically you have to stay in a queue, and you need to know someone in the telecom company to get a connection. So the people in the telecom company were like very powerful at that time. So having a friend in Sri Lanka Telecom was very big advantage, right? Why? Because you have to stay in a queue, and if you want it faster, you need to basically uh, get a connection, right, and get it done. So that was the case. But then when it comes to then later, the other telephone companies, telecommunication companies came into operation, such as Dialog, Suntel at that time, Lanka Bell, then Mobitel. So when all these companies came into operation, the monopoly that they had was broken, and today you are not dependent on the company. You have choice, right? You have choice. So you have competitors where you can get your thing done and get a connection if Sri Lanka Telecom is not up to the standard. So if they tell you that I'll give you a connection after 1 year, which was the case long time back, right? You might say, okay, keep your connection. I'll go and buy it from another company, right? So the standard and the choice of the customer has increased, improved, right? So when you're having a monopoly, this is easy, but when it comes to competition, it's not so, right? So competition is the one that actually makes you improve, right? And at the same time, keeps you very on the pins to serve the customer and improve your standards, right? Then when your competitor starts to grow, your customer choice gets widened. A long time back, if you look at the banking industry, there were very few banks, right? And especially the state banks, Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank, right? The savings bank, the National Savings Bank, very few banks. So the people have to go to the banks, stay in long queues, right? And the bankers are treated with a lot of respect and a lot of having a connection with a banker was a big deal, right? And then at that time, the bankers had lot of say, like basically lot of demand, right? But over a period of time, now we have over, I think, 25 banks right now in the local scenario, about 13 local banks and 12 foreign banks. So today the competition is such that every bank is trying to say that we are the best and come to us, and the customer is going to the bank where they find it easy for them to bank, right? And not they have a lot of choice, right? And even the bankers are going to the doorstep of the customer, asking them to open accounts, whereas in the history they used to close the bank and say you come next day to open the account. So this is what is happening, right? So when the competitions get widened, one by one, when competitors enter into the market, it gets widened. So as a result of that, the customer choice and the demands go up, and the companies are faced with challenges to do better than others, right? So this is what is happening, and they will struggle to grow and survive, right? Then if you look at CRM, we must understand CRM was born as the answer to the burning need to search the ultimate solution to survive and thrive in fiercely competitive environment, right? So this is my statement on CRM, right? Because if you really look at how the people have tried to compete in the market in the history, trying to improve quality, trying to sell aggressively, right? Trying to do innovations. These are all fine, but none of those allows you to be competitive for a longer period. For example, you look at productive improvement, you improve the product today, tomorrow your competitor matches it. If you look at innovations, you introduce a new concept or product to the industry, tomorrow the competitor will also do that, right? So when the competitors can match what you do, that competitive advantage is not sustainable. Am I right? Because you are doing this to get the competitive edge. Tomorrow he also matches it, so that your competitive edge goes off. Right? Now, if you see the banking industry today, that you can see it. Some banks do innovations, right? So they come up with apps, right? So they'll say, okay, mobile app. So one bank comes with a mobile app, all the other competing banks will introduce it. The one bank comes with the cash deposit machine, all the other banks will do it. One bank comes with QR, all the other banks will do. So likewise, the competitors can match what you do, then very difficult for you to remain competitive, because it's easy for them to give the same solution. So therefore, we have to find something where the competitors can't match. ඒ successful වෙන්නේ. දැන් competitors වල match ගන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් ගේන වෙලාවට ඒගොල්ලෝ match කරනවා නම් ඔයාට compete කරන්න බෑ. එහෙමනම් ඔයා match කරන්න බැරි දෙයක් හොයන්න ඕන. So මොකද්ද match කරන්න බැරි දේ? දැන් අපි ඒක හොයාගෙන යනකොට, so when it comes to product, yes, product can be matched. When it comes to innovations can be matched, right? So sometimes it might take time, but they will still match it, right? They still match it, right? It is a matter of time. So then even if you look at people factors and basically the sales team and good competitive people, that also can be matched, and the people will be hired paying more money if the competitive edge is required, right? So basically, if you really look at it, it is very difficult. Then තව මොනවාද අපිට තියෙන්නේ? Competitive edge ගේන්න පුළුවන්. අපි හිතමු cost එක. Right. One bank will reduce cost. Right. For example, they will do digitalization, they will do automation, and they will reduce cost. The operational cost එක අඩුයි. As a result of that, you have a higher profit and you are gaining a competitive advantage. You can give better rates, right? Better pricing. And now you are trying to attract. But over a period of time, other banks will also go on the digital drive. They will also digitalize. They will also automate, right? And it will be matched. So nothing like you can't match it. So if you really look at top line, the products, sales efforts, ඒවක්කොම match කරන්න පුළුවන්. Bottom line, operation, ඒකත් match කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So අපි මේ bottom line එක කොහොමද is a result of the top and the middle නේ. දැන් bottom line කියන්නේ අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් profit එකනේ. So මේ profit එක කොහොමද is a result of top end and the bottom end. Top is the growth, right? Sales and the turnover. And if you look at the bottom, that's the operation. Sorry, middle line එකේ තියෙන operation එක, right? The top line එකේ growth එක, middle line එකේ cost එකයි operation එකයි. එතකොට මේ දෙක තමයි ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට මේ දෙකේ result එක තමයි bottom line එක. Bottom line කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Profit එක. The result to the stakeholder, right? එතකොට මේ දෙකේම කරන ඔය දේවල් can be matched, right? ඔයා lean six sigma ගෙනාවත්, right? ඔයා digitalization ගෙනාවත්, automation ගෙනාවත්, robotic technology ගෙනාවත්, ඒ ඔක්කොම can be matched. එතකොට මොකද්ද match කරන්න බැරි කියලා අහගෙන යනකොට, what you really can't match කියලා අහගෙන යනකොට, then the answer found, which is undisputed or undoubtedly accepted by everyone, is the CR, customer relationship management, right? CRM is the relationship that you build with the customer and the organization. Customer එකයි organization එකයි අතර හැදෙන relationship. මේ relationship
9 o'clock.
අපි කියනවා match කරන්න එතකොට මේ relationship එක හැදෙන්නේ කොහොමද? That's also very important. මේ relationship එක you have to understand in the service industry. මේ අපි පරණ ගිය සතියේ note එකෙන් ගත්තොත් එහෙනම් අපි කිව්වා මේ service industry එකේ ඔයාට මේ you can't separate the service from the person who provides it. Right? එහෙමනම් there is no way that the organization straightforward develop a relationship with the customer. Most of the time relationship එක හැදෙන්නේ with the organization with the middle person. That මොකද middle person කියන්නේ? organization එක තියෙනවා එක පැත්තක, එක පැත්තේ customer ඉන්නවා, මැද කවුද ඉන්නේ? මැද ඉන්නවා staff එක. right? staff. right? කියන්නේ ඕගොල්ලෝ. right? ඕගොල්ලෝ ඉන්නවා. ඒකට මේ relationship හුඟක් වෙලාවට හැදෙන්නේ මේ staff එකත් එක්ක. right? staff එකත් එක්ක තමයි හැදෙන්නේ. එතකොට දැන් මේක නම් ඕගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ CRM කියලා, you are wrong. You are sadly mistaken. ඇයි මම එහෙම කියන්නේ? What do you think? We couldn't have a chat also today නේ. අද පොඩ්ඩක් මේ ප්‍රශ්න හින්දා මේ එකපාරට පටන් ගන්න ඕන. right. දැන් මගේ statement එක තේරෙනවානේ. මම කියනවා එක පැත්තක ඉන්නවා organization එක. එහා පැත්තේ ඉන්නවා customer. මැද ඉන්නවා staff member. right. එතකොට මම කියන්නේ මේ අපි හිතුවොත් එහෙම customer relationship management කියලා එකේ relationship එක කියන්නේ customerයි staff memberයි අතර තියෙන relationship එක කියලා. that is wrong. ඇයි එහෙම මම කියන්නේ? Can someone answer? විදුර මොකද හිතන්නේ? විදුර?
Yes sir, good morning.
Good morning විදුර කොහොමද?
හොඳයි sir. Yeah.
What do you think about my statement? ඒක හරිද? relationship කියන්නේ customer staff member අතර තියෙන එකද එහෙම develop කරොත් හරිද organization එකේ විදිහට බැලුවොත්?
I think sir that relationship should be built not only the staff, it's about loyalty to the organization and
now with my question is, now for example අපි ගමු ආගේ bank එක කියලා විදුරගේ bank එකේ දැන් විදුර ඉන්නවා staff member. So customers ඇවිල්ලා relationship හදනවා විදුරත් එක්ක. right? ඒකද අපි මෙතන organization එකට aim එක කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒක කරොත් ඊට පස්සේ මොකක්ද?
that all the relationships depends on only me. That's all.
Okay. So you find a risk there, right?
Yeah, there is a risk.
Right. So we'll move to Chaturanga. Chaturanga, if you are there, what is the risk that we were talking about?
Yeah, good morning to you all, sir.
Good morning, Chaturanga.
So actually, if someone is there and build a relationship with the customer, if that staff member goes for another bank, the customer will try to move with the employee or the staff member. That is one risk that I see.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really good approach. So that is another photo on Chaturanga and Vidura. Actually the main risk here is that if the organization looking at relationships as the relationships built by the customers and the employees, then organization is going towards the wrong direction. Actually, the relationship should be built with customers and the organization, the brand, right? Customer and the brand. Right? If you build if you allow customers to build relationships with the staff members, there's a higher risk that the staff member will move along with the customer to one of your competitors. So therefore, it's critically important that you make sure that you you will make arrangements to right. It's critically important that you will make arrangements to basically build relationship with the brand straightly rather than the other way. එතකොට මේ brand එකත් එක්ක හදන එක is quite challenging because you know that the customer has, the organization is not a person. විදුර mic එක පොඩ්ඩක් on වෙලා විදුර. මේ organization is not a person. Right? So relationship සාමාන්‍යයෙන් human beings ලා හදන්නේ තව relation කෙනෙක් එක්කනේ. තව පුද්ගලයෙක් එක්ක. ඒකට මේ අපි ඇවිල්ලා මේ emotional beings ලානේ. කියන්නේ humans, if you really look at, we call emotion in motion කියලා නේ. අපි ඇවිල්ලා තනි කරම emotional. So this is very important when you look at the customer psychology also, because if you look at the customer is an emotional being. However much you are trying to be logical, he may not analyze your offers very logically. සමහරක් යාළුවෝ උඟක් කාට emotion එක මත තමයි decisions ගන්න. Right? So මේ පළවෙනි දේ තමයි මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ, if you really think customer is a rational being or very logical person, I would say it is not, right? It is not. And if you really look at the Asian culture, especially the Asians, Sri Lankans, Indians, Asian context, you find most of them are very emotional and relationship oriented, right? Now that is coming from the cultural dimensions. If you really look at the cultural dimension, the Lanka is a collectivistic country. For a collectivistic country, we always try to build relationships and we value the group norms, right? We actually influenced by the group, influenced by the social groups, friends, family, right? And what is there in the Facebook, the social media, influence that is our cultural aspect, right? And we are a collectivistic country and we are a very feminine country, and feminine country we want to have, we value relationships, we value the close contact. ඒ වගේ අර අපි ඇවිල්ලා ඒ වගේ ලක්ෂණ තියෙන කල්චර් එකක්. ඒත් මේ කල්චර් එකේ අපි හුඟක් වෙලාවට බලන්නේ relationship එක ගැන කතා කරද්දී person to person. Right? So it's very challenging for organizations to build relationships with customers and the brand. Right? The brand කියන එක මේ non existent නේ. ඒක ඇවිල්ලා intangible. ඒකට මිනිසුන්ට මේ brand එකට වඩා පේන්නේ ඉන්නේ මනුස්සය. ඉතින් මේ brand එකත් එක්ක relationship එකක් හදන එක is a very difficult thing to do. So that හැබැයි මේක හැදුවොත් ඔයාගේ relationship එක independent වෙනවා from the person to brand, so that even the person leaves, the customer will remain with the brand. එතකොට මේක කරන්න බැරි කමකුත් නැහැ. මේක කරන්න පුළුවන්. කොහොමද? උදාහරණයක් ඇයට ඔයා brand එකේ image එක develop කරලා, brand එකේ දෙන value එක වැඩි කරලා, right? එතකොට customer මේ brand එකට loyal වෙනවා. දැන් අපි උදාහරණයක් ඇයට අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම අපි ගමු සම්පත් cards කියන එක. That what I'm there. The සම්පත් cards වල they give you a lot of value, right? They give you a lot of discounts, offers. Then make a benefit, the customer will feel, okay, I'm getting very high value from the brand. At the same time, they might help you when you are in trouble, right? Support කරනවා, right? ඊළඟට මේ ඔයාට හැම වෙලාවෙම මේ ඔයාත් එක්ක සර්විස් එකක් ගන්න ගියාම ඔයාට හොඳට සර්විස් එක දෙනවා. දැන් මෙහෙම වුණොත් you build a positive association with the සම්පත් කාඩ් කියන බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක. එහෙම සම්පත් කාඩ් කියන බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකට positive association එකක් ඇවිල්ලා ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතුවොත් එහෙම මේ සම්පත් කාඩ්ස් කියන බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක තමයි මාකට් එකේ හොඳම එක, ඒක අපිට හොඳම වැලියු එක දෙනවා කියලා. දැන් එයාගේ loyalty develop වෙනවා සම්පත් කාඩ් කියන බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකට. එතකොට එතන ඉන්න පුද්ගලයා, අපි හැන්ඩල් කරන පුද්ගලයා කවුරු වුණත්, එයා මාරු වුණත්, ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර් වුණත්, වෙන බැංකුවකට ගියත් අර කස්ටමර්ස්ලා එයත් එක්ක යන්නේ නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකත් එක්ක තමයි ඉන්නේ. ඒකට එහෙම හැදුවොත් අන්න ඔයාට තියෙන රිලේෂන්ෂිප් එක built with the brand. එතකොට මේක තමයි challenge එක. ඒතකොට organization එකක success එකේදී හදන්න ඕනේ relationship එක not with the individuals, staff members නෙමෙයි හදන්න ඕනේ relationship එක with the brand. Now that is something for you to remember. එතකොට මේ relationship එක කියන එක ගැන අපි කතා කරන්නේ මේ relationship කියන එක. relationship එක හදන්නේ කායකද කියලා අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට relationship එක හදන්න ඕනේ මොකක් එක්කද? With the organization and the brand. Organization and the brand, not with the interim or the middle person, the staff. Right? So ඒක හදන්න staff එකත් එක්ක positive relationship තියෙන්න ඕනේ. So I'm not telling you ignore the staff member. එහෙම කරන්න බෑ. ignore කරන්න බෑනේ. ඒ organization එකේ brand එකත් එක්ක හදන relationship එකේ හදන එක පුද්ගලයෙක් තමයි staff member. But that is not the only thing. PR, promotions, advertising මේ ඔක්කොම මේ effort එක දාන්න ඕනේ brand එකත් එක්ක හදන්න. ඒක එක channel එකක් තමයි staff member. ඒකෝර staff member will also build basically a good positive relationship with the customer, so that staff member එක build කරන positive relationship එක he will associate it with the brand. ඒක logically කියනවා නම් මම staff member කැමති, එයා හොඳයි. එතකොට මට තියෙන්නේ staff member and the customer has a positive association. Staff member කියන්නේ ඒ කියන යම් කිසි බැංකුවක staff එක, right? අපි ගමුකෝ A කියන බැංකුව, A කියන බැංකුවේ staff member. එහෙමනම් because I have a positive relationship with the staff member, I will have a positive relationship with the bank A as well. Bank A as well. එතකොට මේ relationship හදද්දී not only the staff, but you also have to look at your total communication campaigns, product offer, market offering, even when it comes to all the touch points, such as from the call center to the branch network to all those things. Right? එහෙම කරොත් තමයි ඔයාට මේ හොඳ relationships හදන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර මේ relationships හදන්නේ කායකද? It should be the brand and the company. Right? Right. එතකොට මම මේක කියන so there is a burning need. So එතකොට මේ CRM තමයි අපි මෙච්චර කතා කරේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබුණා. ප්‍රශ්නෙට ආන්සර් එක ආව CRM. එතකොට මේ relationship කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා අපි කතා කරේ. කායකද හදන්න ඕනේ කියලා. එතකොට මේක තමයි ආපු ආන්සර් එක. right? මේ ආන්සර් එක ආවිලා අපි කියන ultimate solution. Ultimate solution කියන්නේ වෙන solution එකක් නැත. වෙන solution එකක් නැත. ඉතින් ඕගලන්ට ඕනනම් පුළුවන් then you all can now challenge me. Challenge me කියන්නේ you all can argue, because our learning comes from the arguments, constructive arguments. So you all can say sir එහෙම කියන්න බෑ, මේ ultimate relationship එක වෙන ඒවායින් හදන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙමනම් you all can tell me. මේ ඕක හුඟක් අය try කරා. ඉතින් අපි product එකත් එක්ක හදන්න හදුවා මේක. අපි product එක improve කරන්න හදුවා, sales efforts දාන්න හදුවා. මේ කිසිම එකකින් මේක මේ හදන්න බෑ solution එකක්. Solution එකක් හදන්න බෑ. හදන්න පුළුවන් short term, long term හදන්න බෑ. ඒක long term හදන මේ දෙකම achieve වෙන, profit to achieve වෙන, sustainability achieve වෙන එකම solution එක ඇරින් තමයි CRM එළියට එන්නේ. එතකොට CRM එකේ කියන්නේ you develop a relationship, positive relationship with the customer and the organization, right? So once you develop this relationship, it will work as a competitive advantage. It will work as a competitive advantage. එතකොට competitive advantage කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Some advantage over the competitor, නේ? But you can get advantage over competitor in various ways. One can be that your product is better than the competitor. So කියනවා මට තියෙනවා දැන් උදාහරණයකට LG කියලා කියනවා LG door cooling technology. So they will say okay, others don't have it, I have the door cooling technology, therefore my product is better. So product feature එක ගෙනල්ලා ඔයාලට කියන්න පුළුවන් we are better than others. banking industry ගත්තම අපිට එහෙම significant claim එකක් දක්වන්න ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ මේ industry එකේ. මොකද හේතුව ඒ claim එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් for a short period, නමුත් බොහෝ වෙලාවට අනික් බැංකු match කරනවා. right? Anyone in the industry can talk about some එහෙම product එකෙන් competitive advantage එකක් ගන්න තැන සමහරක් පිට ඔයගලන්ට හම්බෙලා තියෙනවනේ. So you go and මේකේදී වා කියන්නේ our product is better than others, so therefore you have to come to us. එතකොට මේ product එක තමයි ඔයාගේ competitive advantage. competitive advantage කියන්නේ මොකද? competitors ට සාපේක්ෂව ඔයාට තියෙනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ට නැති value එකක්.
It's 9:15.
එහෙම product හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එක. මොකද හිතන්නේ? Anything? We have Kunana. Kunana, are you there? Kunana Thawe කියලා තමයි මට පෙන්නන්නේ. Am I pronouncing it right? Kunana Thawe. Then we have Rajakaruna. Rajakaruna Tilakaratne. Rajakaruna, you were there last class?
Yes, actually, I was logged as a Brahmana Tilakaratna last time. This is Brahmana Tilakaratna last time. So this is it was my personal email. Now I logged in the IBSL, the loggings and everything, so that I have completed that task. And that is
So
last time it was Brahmana. That is my personal email.
Right,
So,
right. What is your calling name? We call you Tilakaratna, or you have a different calling name?
Sorry, I couldn't get you.
What is your calling name? Is it Rajakaruna or Tilakaratna?
Rajakaruna, yes.
Right.
Rajakaruna, Tilakaratna, both names.
So, what do you think, Tilakaratna, about we just...
Actually, that is the competitive advantage what I was discussing. So, if someone who has the patron license for the particular product or something, so that will be coming under the monopoly, the industry. So, other than that, so everyone can match the product. I mean,
exactly.
So,
100% right.
Yeah. So, other than
so
that,
but when it comes to services, that is also invalidated, right, Rajakaruna? Services or patents can now.
Yes, that is.
That's
so
the thing.
Other than that, yes.
Sometimes patent for the technology, but that also you can keep for a shorter period of time. You can take a period taking pass, even though you have the patent, you can't basically have the monopoly.
Monopoly, yeah. So other than that, it's the brand image. I mean, what I believe is the brand image is most important, especially these days. What we concern about the branding is most important. But actually, you discussed about this, the branding, and in this the session like company and customer as well as the staff. The interconnected with all these that will be developed the CRM, especially the branding is very, very important. What you say, the Sampath card, the branding is superb.
Yeah, that's right. You're correct. So we are very clear that the product can't give you the competitive edge, sustainable advantage. Then let's say pricing. Tomorrow, today you increase your interest rate. What will happen? Tomorrow, other banks will also. So pricing is bad, right? Delivery channels, right? You try to improve, you try to introduce internet banking, others will also do it. You try to introduce mobile banking, they will also do. You try to increase your branch network, the others will also follow. Right? So the competitive advantage over a period of time. ඊළඟට ගත්තොත් එහෙම product price place ඊළඟට promotion. So promotions you do now. Look at the credit card industry. Now one bank gives you 20%, other bank gives you 20%, some 25%. And if you go to a merchant outlet during the season, you find huge boards, right? Huge pennants and then the billboards where they talk, okay, Meda Sampath cards, Meda HNB, Meda commercial bank. Everyone is giving discounts. So long time back, if you look at 10 years back, only one or two banks used to give discounts. Others, they didn't. But today, the entire card banks that are offering cards are giving discounts. So you give 20%. So the customer will say, okay, no worries. The other bank is also giving 20%. So basically, then the customer will come and say, okay, we will use your card if you give a higher discount. So then you have to give 25%. Then the other bank you have to give 30%. The other bank you give 35%. What is happening? Number one is you are losing your profit margin. Now there are some competitors, some banks, they go and give cards free, right? Credit cards free of charge. So what is happening? Basically, you are removing your card fee income, annual income, and giving the card to get the competitive advantage over pricing. Right? So you go and say, "Ape card deke water free deno, ani card deke wage wandone." Our card is better. Right? So now what is happening? You are getting competitive advantage over the cost of your bottom line, over your profits. So trying to get the advantage over pricing is actually costly. It will bleed you, right? Bleeding. You are bleeding yourself, right? A competitive advantage your pricing, it won't happen. It won't happen, and even if it happens, then it will actually bleed you. It will actually reduce your profit margin. So it's quite challenging to work with pricing for you to get competitive advantage. Right? Product price, place, promotion. Promotion communication, advertising. So if you do advertising, the other will also do. You do PR, other will also do, right? And you do personal selling, the others will also have their sales team. So it is also matchable, no competitive advantage. Then if you go to physical evidence, now you create beautiful branches with good ambience, technology, right? Tomorrow your competitor will follow. They'll also improve their brand structure. It is not impossible for them. It's a choice. So if they want, they will immediately do. They'll also bring super concepts and improve their interior and the technology, right? Tech part. Now, very interestingly, the research shows that the customers coming to your branches are quite concerned about the physical evidence, right? So as branch managers, you all have to be very careful about the physical evidence, right? Because the physical evidence play a major role in developing a positive perception towards your services, right? Towards your services. The research has found if you have some new technology being visible, for example, machine robotic banking. Then tawa machine එකක් තියෙනවා මේ open your accounts remotely. මෙහෙම තියෙනකොට මේගොල්ලෝ මේ technology දකිනකොට they say that they will create a positive perception towards the brand and they like it, right? ඒකෝට ඒක මේ research finding එකක්. ඒකෝට මේ technology gain එක සහ ඒක visible ව තියෙන එක actually will boost the consumer to have a positive image towards the bank. So this is fine. This is a finding. Right? The way that you keep the brand. Positive image. Now the competitive advantage gain is difficult for you because it is certainly matchable by your competitor within a very short period. Right? තවත් අපි ගියොත් එහෙම දැන් ඒතකොට physical evidence ඊට පස්සේ people, right? Then people fact එක ගමුකෝ. People factor got staff members. Now, if you develop your staff members, you hire the most competent person in the industry and you put him into the branch, and then now they are running the branch superb, right? And when the customers go to them, they give the right solution. They are very friendly. So you have the best staff. Tomorrow, they can be offered double the salary and competitor might hire them. Right? Competitor might hire them. So that is how the offers are coming to you, right? So if you are a super branch manager, the other bank will send you offer saying that, okay, we will pay you double the salary, you come here. The moment you go there, that advantage is lost. People, processes. Processes improve. So how do you improve the processes to make it more convenient, more customer friendly, right? So you improve a particular process. For example, if you look at long time historical example, selling on the spot. Right? So those days when you want to do the insurance, when you want to take an insurance claim, basically you have to wait until the insurance fellow comes, take photos, this and that, and then it takes a longer, very cumbersome procedure for you to get it reimbursed or get the insurance claim. So what did Selinco do? Selinco said on the spot. And so they won an award also for their campaign. So they said on the spot, the moment you face an accident, we will come and we will give you money. Finish. Right? So people were like, amazing, right? So you had to go through a lot of cumbersome process to get it. Now this company is coming and telling it's very easy. If you face a problem, we'll come there, give you money straightforward. Right? So those days they come with money, right? And it was quite threatening for the selling co-agents, because when they come in money, some people try to rob them also, right? So, but basically they come with money and they will give you money on the spot for your claim, right? And you basically don't have to do anything. They'll ask you, okay, මොනවාද සල්ලි ගන්නවද සර් දැන් මෙන්න මේකයි මෙච්චරයි ගාන දෙන්නද අසෙන්සේ දෙන්න දුන්නා ඉවරයි කතාව ඉවරයි, right? So became very convenient process. So the process improved. So what happened? Telinco won an award, global award, and then actually they were having booming sales. So what happened? Others followed. They also came with a lot of things, and now they have come to a level where they say, okay, if you face an accident, don't worry, don't wait, you just take photos, upload and go, right? So they have come to that level now, right? So the processes. Then another can be digitalization, right? Okay, the banks වල තියෙන වැඩේ කියන digitalization and automation, right? So මේ දවස්වල trend එක. So they start digitalizing and then they start automating processes. So the processes will become very easy. For example, we introduced the virtual teller, right? With the virtual assistant. So by going to this VTMs, virtual teller machines, basically you can even open an account, right? So you will talk to the person at the back end, and then you show your NIC, this, that, and then you open the account, and your debit card is also given from the ATM then and there. Right? So that technology is there in Sri Lanka now, right? So we introduced that technology, and then another company will follow, right? So today you introduce it in your bank, tomorrow the other bank will also follow. It's a matter of time and money. Right? So investment decision. So if they decide to invest and match immediately, it's a matter of time. Maybe you will get the competitive advantage for about 6 months, right? For that whole investment of improving your stuff, right? So they will also have. So it's very difficult for you to keep a long-term sustainable advantage over that cost, right? So it will give you advantage, but it will take time. So මේ දේ අපි බලන් ගියාට පේනවා අපි ගත්තොත් එimhe entire extended marketing mix එක product, price, place, promotion, staff, people, right? Physical evidence, processes, මේ කිසිම එකකින් මේ sustainability එක ගේන්න බෑ. එහෙම නම් ගේන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රමය මොකක්ද? developing relationships, right? Developing relationships. එතකොට relationship එකක් හැදුනොත් ඒකෙදි හැදෙනවා emotional bond එකක්. Emotional bond, right? That emotional bond is very unique. It's very unique, right? So it is created, and then that will stand strong. For example, that mama එකපාරක් ගියපු customer කෙනෙක් මට කියලා දිනවා මෙන්න මේ particular bank එක. මෙන්න මේ particular bank එකත් එක්ක මම relationship එකක් තියෙනවා. මම ඔයා මට නිකන් දෙනවා කිව්වත් මම ඔයාගේ බැංකුවට එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ ඔයාගේ බැංකුවත් එක්ක තරහට නෙමෙයි. I have no problem, but මේ බැංකුව මම අතාරින්නේ නැහැ. He says that when he was developing his business, where everybody refused to give him a loan, then මේ බැංකුවේ මට loan එක දුන්නා. Right? මේ බැංකුව මාව understand කරා. ඒ බැංකුව මට business එක develop කරන්න උදව් කරා. So therefore I have an emotional bond towards the brand, මේ බැංකුවට. එතකොට ඒ නිසා මම මේ බැංකුවෙන් නම් එන්නේ නැත කියලා කිව්වා. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ ඇවිල්ලා emotional bond එකේ එමත් relationship එකේ peak එකේ ඉන්න customer කෙනෙක්. So very difficult for you to get them into your bank, right? So you may have also come across such people when you are trying to do business, right? So we have the branch managers, and we'll ask from the how the branch managers in මට මතක නැහැ. Do we have branch managers here on the session? කවුද ඉන්නේ අපිට branch manager කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා? මතක නැහැ දැන් මට.
It's 9:30.
Rangana.
Good morning. Sir.
Good morning, Rangana. Go on.
Okay.
So you were at
I'm at Kamburupiti branch.
Kamburupitiya branch නේ. මොකද ඉතින් Kamburupitiya නම් මේ concept එක ටිකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙමද?
Yeah. The loyal I have been working at say, urban branches as well. When it goes to outstation and remote branches, which you said the loyalty or the emotional relationship with the bank is much more higher when it comes to remote areas. Customers, because they have limited resources and limited options. So I have experienced many customers who have strong loyalty towards banks.
In your view, then ඒක ඇදලා තියෙන්නේ emotional bond එකකින්, right?
Yeah, as you said, say certain customers when we try to canvas say from leasing companies or somewhere, most of the people are very much linked to them because, as you said, at the initial stages, normally the banking sector is reluctant to lend to startups or the businesses at this inception level. At that time, when financial companies and leasing companies are prepared to do at a risk, so it's very difficult for us to sometimes to canvas customers from those institutions because of the loyalty that they have towards those institutions.
Right. So Rangana, you have worked in urban branches also, right?
Initially, I was at not as a branch manager, but I
as a banker. So what is your view compared to the urban customer and the outstation customer?
Outstation customers, as you said, they mainly rely on relationships because they are not that educated on bank standards. Like only when we go to remote areas, they don't know the Fitch rating or the ranking that the bank has in the global context, but they are worried about the staff and the managers who are handling their transactions at that branching. So they tend to have more strong relationships, loyalty towards banks based on relationships, whereas at urban areas, customers have very much information on, say, from the share market or somewhere else. You can get the details on the stability of the bank. So their decisions are mainly based on the stability and other things. Mainly, I think in Colombo areas, what I have experienced, as you said, even the car parking is one of the main reason for a customer to go to a bank. So from different localities, you get different views on customers' relationships.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Rangana. So as Rangana very correctly said, the emotional bond is somewhat easy when you go to outstations compared to the urban customers. That's my experience also. So anyway, now we also understand now this is a emotional bond. So it's nothing to do with the logic, but you have to also understand that this emotional bond that you create is basically with the brand. Now, whether Rangana is there as the branch manager or someone else will come, that relationship will remain with the bank. So, if the bond is created with the brand or the bank organization, it doesn't matter whether it is Rangana or Chamal or Rajakaruna, whoever, the customers will continue to come to the branch. Now, having said that, it's very important for you to know that whatever the loyalty level, the relationship the customers have towards the brand and the organization, especially when it comes to the service sector, that can be ruined by the interim person, that is the staff member. Now, Rangana as the branch manager, when he goes there, if he gives a very horrible service, and if he doesn't care, and if he gives a very bad service to the customers, however much loyal they are to the bank, they will basically, you are creating an avenue for the others to get them into some other bank, right? So they will sometimes, with reluctance, they will move. So if Rangana gives a very friendly and a good service, they will basically remain and their bond will improve, right? So therefore, it's very important for you to understand, especially when it comes to the service sector or the banking and financial sector especially, although the organizations try to build relationships with the customers by different means, those are very emotional bonds, and the person in between the organization and the customer is the staff member. And if the staff member is not competent to manage that relationship or the emotional bond, then those customers will move away from the branch, move away from the bank, right? So so this is the crucial thing. So now we understand. Now if you really look at the research part, the research has found that when the customer is having a strong relationship with a particular brand or an organization, they will not simply move away from you based on mere offers, like podi improvements solta egollo yanne naha, and it will take longer time for them to shift, and they will always try to make you to give them what others give before they leave. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් අනික් බැංකුව ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා රයිට් මේ අපිට තියෙනවා මෙන්න මේක අපි ගාවට එන්න. දැන් ඔයා ඉන්න බැංකුවේ ඕක නැහැ, ඔය ෆැසිලිටි එක නැහැ. කිව්වම they will basically come to you and they will tell you, sir මේ ෆැසිලිටි හදා ගන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ බැංකුවේ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ බැංකුවේ මේක ඉම්ප්‍රූව් කර ගන්න ඕවා. බලන්නකෝ අර බැංකුවේ තියෙනවා. අපි යන්න ගන්නවා අපි නොගියට මේ අපිට මේක හදලා දෙන්නකෝ. So they will try, basically they are not trying to move, they are trying to improve you rather than going away, and they will stay with you for a longer period until you do it. They will tolerate with you, right? So again, right, bayන්න එපා, අපි මේක හදනවා, අපිට දෙන්න තව මේ මාස කිහිපයක් දෙන්න, අපිත් මේ facility කියනවා, right sir කියන ඉඳ අපි ඉන්න. එහෙම customers කියනවා, right? So sometimes they might give you a better rate, right? So අතර අර බැංකුවෙන් අපිට 0.5% දුන්නා. ඉතින් අපි කියනවා එහෙම කරන්න එපා, ඉතින් අපේ relationship එකේ තියෙන එහෙම යන්න එපා, අපිට ඕන දෙයක් flexibility කරගන්න පුළුවන්. They might say okay right, එහෙනම් කවන්නේ නැහැ, 0.5% අමතක කරමු අපි ඉන්න, right? So they will go to that extent, right? So there are different stages of relationships so basically in the CRM you try to take a customer from a suspect to an advocate, right? එතකොට ඒක stages තියෙනවා. Suspect, then you become a prospect, you become a customer, you become a client, right? And then you become basically then to the next levels, right? මේ විදිහට ඒකේ advocate වෙනකම් to go to the advocate level where you go and basically canvas business on behalf of the organization. ඒ level එකට වෙනකම් අපි relationship එක ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන්, right? So එතකොට මේ relationships අපිට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඇති කරගත්තට පස්සේ අනික් බැංකු වලට match කරන්න අමාරුයි, right? match කරන්න අමාරුයි. එතකොට මේ relationship එක තියෙනකම් you get a very high competitive advantage over others, right? So that you can go on. But at the same time, don't think that the relationship will be there even after you do whatever the unnecessary things, right? That relationship will have its provisions where if you don't manage it properly, it will go away, right? Have a relationship back, right? So even the girlfriend-boyfriend relationship is same, right? So your girlfriend and the boyfriend will try their level best to stay with you, and then if you do something wrong, to tell you not to do it, to improve you. But then if you don't do the right thing properly, and if you don't manage the relationship for a longer period, that will anyway go off, right? So same with the customer, right? Same with the customer. So you must not take relationship for granted also, but you can always rely on relationships than any other thing to compete in the market. Right. So what is CRM? What is CRM? Then before I develop a definition, can I listen to what you think as CRM, right? ඔගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ මොකද්ද CRM කියලා. අපි බලමු චමින්දට කතා කරලා චමින්ද are you there? චමින්ද? Right. Dilshani, what do you think, Dilshani? Dilshani? We have Ashokan, right? Are you there?
Yeah,
Hi, how are you?
fine, sir.
How is your name is pronounced, the first name?
Harishangi.
Harishangi.
Harishangi, yeah.
Harishangi, right. Were you there in the last class, Harishangi?
No, sir. Today only I have joined it.
Your place is new for me. Harishangi, may I know where you work and what is you do?
Now I'm working at NDB for last 10 years and currently working in a Jaffna branch. Earlier I worked at Colombo.
All right, definitely. Right. Glad to have you in the class. So you are into what area? Like you are into credit or council?
No, related to the privilege banking. After move.
Priority, is it?
Earlier I was an elevator relationship officer. Now I have moved on to Jaffna, so there's no potential in there. So now I'm attaching to the branch operations.
Branch operations, right.
Yeah.
So you were earlier a relationship manager in Colombo, right?
Yeah, in the Colombo region.
Right. Harishangi, so what do you think as customer relationship management? Just let me have your view.
Actually, there are a lot of differences between the urban customers and here as well. The thing is, of course, to convince the customer, of course, from here, they will be, most of them are interact with the emotions. But of course, for the Colombo side and in the urban side, of course, with that we have to give some value-added services and extra effort to serve the customer more. Like we have to give an additional service for them to satisfy, like how we can convince the customer. Of course, we'll be telling the customer don't go with the rates and everything, so we'll be monitor, we'll be giving a financial advices additionally to the normal services and all. So in that case only we'll be having a good relationship with the customer.
Let's come to Colombo, right?
Yeah, of course. Because they will be looking on not only the services as well as everything they will be looking on it. So to compare with that, we have to manage the customers with everything. So in that case, for an example, if we are going for like, if the customer is going for a rate concern, in that time we may convince the customer, we have additional services like that with that, so don't go with that, and we'll be monitor continuously, and we will give special rates in future also, not like the competitive things. Likewise, we'll be convince the customer based on that. But here, of course, there will be most of the people will be looking on the emotions. There are a lot of differences are there, but based on the customer, we have to identify the customer needs and go with that. So that is, of course, we can remain the customers to the back.
Right. Thanks for the analysis, Harishangi. Now, if I ask you a very single question, what is customer relationship management based on your experience? What do you say?
Customer relationship in a management, in a sense, the basically, of course, we have to give a financial solution to the customer with our best of the thing, like in every places, like In every side, we have to look on it and give a better service to the customer based on their needs. Especially, we have to analyze the needs and to give the correct solution to the customer.
Fine, fine. So I think in her definition, she has important points like giving the correct solution, identifying the need, doing best all the time, right?
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Harishangi. Anyone else who would like to answer this question, straightforward question? What is CRM? Muralidharan, you are there? Muralidharan?
Yes.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, hi.
Hello.
How you were there last class or you were not there?
No. Today only I have joined.
All right. What is your calling name? Muralidharan or?
Yes.
Right. So where do you work, Muralidharan?
At National Bank.
Hand National Bank. In Colombo or outstation?
Jaffna.
Jaffna. Ah, right, right. So both of you are from Jaffna. Right. Okay. You are also on to operations.
Yes, operation side.
Right, right. So if I ask you the same question from you, what is CRM? What is your answer on to the question? Based on your view, you don't have to give an academic answer to me, but what do you think as a bank?
Yeah. Customer relationship means mainly it depends in the staff and what the service we are giving and how we are handling the customer. With that, we can get more customers. We can build a relationship. With the services, we can build a good relationship with customers.
So I think her view is like basically if you give the proper service, you develop a relationship, and that's what is customer relationship.
Service means between the higher management and the customer, we are in between them, so we can get the whatever customer needs. If we can offer, we can get the approval from the management and give them. So with the, like it's come under services.
Right, right. Thank you so much for your insights. So if you really look at it, now we have talked about very important words here, right? That is basically identifying the needs, right, and giving the right solution, giving a proper service, so sort of things. Now let's see what is the definition. So if you are asked to define what is CRM, this is the definition that I have found, which I would like to teach you. There are a lot of definitions. Out of it, I have selected the definition given by Kotler and Armstrong, the gurus in marketing on CRM. So it says the overall process, right? Now you have to understand every word here. Now it says the overall process. That means this is not a one-time thing. Right? Then no, this is not something where you try to go and say hi to someone and basically develop a chat with the person and go off. No, this is not a spontaneous or something that will happen within a day or two. It's not like that. This is a process. Now, process, if you say process is a combination of events, that combination of events which are interlinked. When I process second, that is how we call a process, right? So process have incidents, events, situations which are interlinked, and basically it's a step-by-step thing where every step is related to the previous and the new one, right? So it's interlinked steps, right? So it's a process. It takes time. It takes a particular roadmap for you to do, right? So it's a process of building. Building means acquiring. So you basically start. Right? Building means start, acquire. Right? So that is where you have to first acquire a relationship. First make a customer come to your branch and open an account. Right? So unless you start a banking relationship, you can't do anything else, right? So you basically have to identify a customer and basically start a relationship. So that is also part of this. So it is the first step is start building a relationship, build a relationship and maintain. And then afterwards, you have to maintain. So like the two, Muralidharan and Harishangi told previously, you basically have to understand, identify the needs and wants of the customer, give them the better solution, and basically grab them into the bank, and then give them a good service and maintain, right? So applying it to what they have told. So basically, first part is building, and second part is maintaining. So if you really look at CRM and ask what are the two wheels that drives it, first one is acquiring, second one is servicing, right? So you have to acquire customers and then also to make sure that you service them or maintain them for a longer period. Right? Now, this acquiring customers, so building relationships and maintaining relationships is not a one-time piece, it's a process, and it's an overall process, so that the entire processes and the approach of the entire bank has to be in line with this in order for you to do this, right? So it's an overall process of building and maintaining what? Profitable customer relationships. So out of this word is very important, profitable, right? Profitable. So you have to develop profitable relationships. Now, as I told you, the objective of an organization is to maximize profit. Why? Because it has to give return to the investors, right? And also to have a sustainable profit for a longer period. So for you to do that, you basically have to focus on profitable customers who will give you a return, right? So this particular relationship is a profitable relationship, right? It's a commercial relationship. It is nothing to do like relationships that we see in the normal society or in our families, right? So in our families, the relationships, you don't ask what I get and what you give, right? So you are not measuring the profits or the benefits when it comes to social relationships, right? So sometimes if you look at a mother and a child, the relationship, the mother will give everything to the child without expecting anything back, right? And when it comes to the family, friends, the society relations, those relationships are different, right? Those are basically not profit oriented. But when it comes to commercial relationships or the banking industry or in organizations, your relationships are basically focused on profit. So that means whatever the relationship you build with the customers, the ultimate aim should be profitability. Right? The ultimate aim is not making the customer happy and losing, not giving him the sun and the moon and at the cost of the bank. So that is not proper relationship building. It's basically that to be profitable, right? Profitable customer relationships. Now, then second says how, right? Then what and then how? By delivering superior customer value. Now, this word superior has a meaning, right? What is superior? Superior is better than the competitor, better than the competing products, better value, right? Better value, right? So superior customer value means basically when the customer deals with you, I told you it's all about a value exchange. So when the customer deals with you, he finds the value he gets from your bank is much higher than the value he gets from other bank. This can be this value can be defined in various ways. For example, utility value. Now, when you go there, how fast the things will happen, how cost effective, right? And then it can be even the emotional value, right? So when I am a customer of this bank, how others will look at me when I present a check of this particular bank. What kind of a recognition I'll get? Right? When I carry a credit card of this bank, what kind of a image recognition I will get? These are also part of value, right? So basically, by when you look at it, what is the value that I get the utility value or the emotional value? So all in together, and you see the total value. Right? So when you are delivering the value to the customer, how you have delivered it better than the competitor, and that is what is called superior customer value. Nothing else, right? Superior means your value is higher than the others, right? Then, and satisfaction. Now, satisfaction means that whatever the customer has expected, you have met that expectation, and the customer perceive what he has got is in line with his expectations, right? So what he has expected and what he perceive as he got in reality, if it matches, then he is satisfied, right? So now I think it's easy for you to remember the overall process of building and maintaining profitable customer relationships by delivering superior customer value and satisfaction, right? So if this in the exam, they might ask you, okay, define customer relationship. So if you have to define the customer relationship, you have to make sure that you go for a proper definition, and you can select any other definition you want by searching in the internet and doing your research. But the simple definition I have got is the overall process of building and maintaining profitable customer relationships by delivering superior customer value and satisfaction. Now, keywords: building and maintaining, right? Overall process, right? Profitable customer relationships, delivering superior customer value, right? And satisfaction. Okay, so I'm sure now you are very clear about the definition. You are very clear about the definition, right? Now, if you really compare this with the sales concept, now in the sales concept, and as most of the companies do even now, the objective is search a client and convince to buy what we have. So this is what some of the banks are doing even now, right? So they are the objective of the branch managers and the bank, sometimes the management, is search clients and convince them to buy what we have, and then close the sale as fast as possible. Right? Find a customer, sell what you have, close the sale as fast as possible, move to another person. So sell the product we have as much as possible, obtain payment for the service offered and get profits. Shorter the cycle, more the profit, right? So find a customer, sell the product, earn profit, find another customer, sell the product, earn profit, find another customer, sell the product, earn profit. So how fast you do it will give you more profits. This is what is being what we have looked at in the sales concept, but apparently we found that it is failing, and the change of attitude is that in the CRM concept, that you are telling, okay, this is not going to work, but you have to develop relationships rather than focusing on short-term cycles of relationships with the customers, right? We are looking at in the CRM concept, they are looking at a longer term relationships with the customer instead of transactional relationships, right? Okay, so now we have to move to the other parts where how the attitudes have changed with the CRM concept coming into light. But let me take a small break, and then we will catch up afterwards. Now it's 10 o'clock. So we will meet again at 10:20, right? So I think we can start again. I hope everyone is back. So let me look at it. Now, what we were discussing is about the CRM concept. And we said that CRM is all about acquiring and maintaining or retention of customers, where we focus on profitable relationships. And we also discussed the organizations that are on selling concept is more towards transactional relationships, whereas they try to shorten the cycle of basically dealing with customers and try to earn profits by basically selling to more and more customers, right? Fine. So now with the introduction of the CRM, the whole attitude of the businesses changed. Now, if you really look at the attitude of businesses, we can find two extremes. First one is acquisition extreme. Now, what is acquisition extreme? Now, this is where the business is having an attitude that we need to basically acquire more and more clients to become profitable, right? So growth and profits is correlated, right? So they see, okay, if we grow, growth with new acquisitions, right? Growth with new acquisition. So if we grow by having more and more new clients, we will be able to grow and then profit, right? So basically acquisition is the key to become successful. That's what they think. So if you go behind and gather more and more new customers, new accounts come into our bank, we will be able to grow and earn more profits. So this is one extreme side, right? So these type of organizations having such attitude will go in search of new clients and will take existing clients for granted. So they are not bothered about the retention part. They're not bothered about too much about the existing clients. The focus is to gather new clients. So their targets are more new accounts, or basically new customer oriented. And so they say, okay, bring this much of new customers, new accounts. So they are basically they're always in search of new customers. So they take existing customers for granted. They think, okay, now we have an existing base. They will bank with us anyway. They will stay with us anyway, right? So, so when the attitude they have is, we need more and more new clients. Existing clients will stay with us anyway, right? So basically, you take it for granted, and these companies are facing with the syndrome of leak bucket effect, we say, right? Now, leaking bucket effect, as you see in the photograph, basically you can have a bucket with a lot of holes and you will start filling it. So you will put more new water into the bucket every day. But what will happen is, however much you try to fill it with new water, the water will go away from the holes, and as a result of that, the bucket is leaking, and it doesn't matter however much you put as new water, the bucket will never get full, right? Bucket will never get full. So bucket will always remain as it is, or it will grow with a very slow level, because whatever the water that you are putting, it is filling it, but at the same time, it drains out because the water is getting spilled through the holes, right? So this is the problem. Now, there are companies which are facing the same leaking bucket effect, where they try to go behind the new customers. They take existing clients for granted. They don't serve them proper. They don't have proper relationships, follow-ups with their customers. As a result of that, existing customers are leaving and going to the competitors, and competitors are dragging their customers.
It's 10:30.
So however much they try, put effort, invest, they will not see a substantial growth, right? So you are opening accounts at the same time. Now, if you open 20 accounts, 10 accounts are getting closed. If you issue 100 cards, you have 20 cards getting closed. So you are not getting the real growth, because you always have customers who are moving away from you as much as you try to bring new clients. So this is not a sustainable practice, or this is not a very effective thing to do, because end of the day you will face, you will not see the growth compared to the effort that you put and the investment that you take, right? So it's not a good strategy. So the second one is the retention extreme. Now, we talked about the acquisition extreme. Second one is the retention extreme. Now, here what happens is, the organizations are thinking, okay, we have enough amount of customers, and therefore let's try to serve them, let's try to nurture them, and we don't have to go in behind of new customers. So what happens here is that they are more focused on their existing card base or the client base or the customer base, and they are basically trying to get the profit out of them and strengthen the relationships instead of going for new relationships. Right? Now this is also dangerous. Why? Because when you are servicing your existing clients, that will actually keep the relationships going. It will give you the profits. But what happens is you cannot stop all the clients moving away from you. Right? So there will be a portion of clients who will move away from you for various reasons which are uncontrollable. Right? Now, for example, even for you, there are some clients, even for natural events, like they will die. Right? So you can't stop them dying, right? So they will die. Sometimes they will migrate. Right? Sometimes they will get an offer which is given by another bank, which they cannot refuse. For example, if there is a government servant, there will be a government-sponsored loan given through a government bank. So however much they are willing to stay with you and have the relationship, they will move their salary accounts to the government bank to get the concessionary loan. Now, those are unavoidable circumstances, nothing to do with you, right? So there are situations which actually takes your clients anyway, and there will be anyway a certain segment of clients who may shift due to the rates, due to a better offer, right? So you can't have a zero rate of people going away, right? So they will anyway, there will be a certain set of clients that you are losing. So for you to fill that, you need new clients. At the same time, if you remain with the existing clients, there will be a limit that you can get out of them, right? So you can give one loan, 2, 3, but then afterwards you can't, right? So there is a limit that you can reap benefits from them. So if you want to grow, you actually need new clients coming in, right? So for you to grow and to maintain your growth, it is important that you focus on new customers also, whilst you look at the retention of existing customers. So the third one that we talk is acquisition and retention win-win hybrid, right? So you can't, as a business, be in acquisition extreme, or you can't be in the retention extreme. You have to be in the middle, where you will have a win-win hybrid attitude, where you talk about acquisition and retention accept the concept of acquisition and retention, right? So when you look at both sides only, you will be able to have a sustainable growth and profits that can be achieved by nurturing and building relationship with clients, right? So basically, the growth and profits will be consistent, and you will have a consistent growth when you focus your attention to both sides, acquisition and retention, which are the two wheels of CRM, right? So CRM actually tells you, don't be in any of the extremes. You have to basically acquire profitable clients and basically bring in new profitable relationships, and at the same time improve the existing relationships and retain your clients to get a higher share of wallet, in very simple words, higher revenue and profit, right? So this is how the CRM is asking you to change your attitude, not to be in any of the extremes, but to come to a situation where you focus on both sides, right? So if we really try to link what we have already learned, the CRM talks about the marketing concept we learned. Understanding and anticipating customer needs of the customers are important, and you need to provide a superior service better than the competitors, right? And at the same time, when you develop now when you give a superior service better than the competitors, after basically understanding their needs and wants, if you look at these two parts, which we learned in the marketing concept, right? We learned in the marketing concept. If you really look at these two parts, now these two, when you do, understand, anticipate needs of the customer and provide superior, that is better than competitor, service better than the competitor, you will have two things coming. That is, one is you create a satisfied customer. Now this is the end result of it. This is the result of what these two, right? These two things, the result is creating a satisfied customer, right? So you have a satisfied customer, right? When you have a satisfied customer, that customer will give you repeat purchase. Now that means the satisfied customer will come to you over and over again, right? So he will come to you over and over again and will give you business throughout his relationship, right? Throughout his life, right? So basically, you will get an opportunity to cross-sell and upsell. Now these are two different concepts: cross-sell and upsell. Now in a cross-sell, what you do is, for a person who's having a one product, you will offer another product, right? For example, if a customer is having a current account, well-operated current account, you give him a credit card, right? And then you give him a loan, personal loan, right? So then what happens is, person who's having a one product, you are giving another product, so that you will earn more from the customer, right? So earlier he was only operating the current account, so your profits generate, your income is generated only from that. Now you have given him a credit card, so now that also will generate you income, so it's more income now. And you give a personal loan and it will develop some more income to you. So basically, when you give more and more products to satisfy his needs, you will gradually increase the income earned from the same customer. Same customer, higher income. Now, when it comes to upselling, it's a different concept. Upselling is focusing on giving a better product that will give you a higher revenue. For example, the customer is having a gold card with you, and now you are offering him a signature card or a platinum card, right? So gold card, he has, let's say he paid you 1,000 rupees. Now for the platinum card, he is paying you 2,000 rupees, right? So you have given him a product which has a higher price, which will generate a higher income to you by giving him a higher value, like the brand value or the recognition that he will get in using a platinum card rather than a gold card, and better offers, right? So you give him more value also, but at the same time you push him from a particular category where he generates you low income to a category where he generates you higher income by selling a product which is of high price and value. So that is called upselling, right? So cross-selling and upselling. Now these are possible when you have satisfied customers who comes to you repeatedly for your services, right? Right. So then the other benefit that you get from a satisfied customer is the introduction of new customers or the referrals, right? So a satisfied customer will basically work as an advocate. Basically, he will give you positive referrals, positive reviews, right? Positive word of mouth, so that the other clients, when they take the decision as to which bank they should go, in which bank they should open an account, from which bank they should take a loan or a credit card, they will get influenced by the word of mouth, positive reviews, positive references given by the satisfied customers. So the satisfied customer, in very simple practical sense, will go and say, "May bank, this bank is really good. They served me really well, right? I got a card within this month very quickly. I got a better limit. I got a good service. The documentation is easy, right?" So they will talk good things so that the other person feels, if I go to this bank, I'll get it done fast. I go to this bank, I'll get a better service, better value, better return. So that the new customer is induced to go to the bank where he got a positive reference from his friends, society, and the family, right? So the satisfied customers will not only bring you repeat purchases, they will also introduce new customers, so that your customer base will grow, right? So when you have same customer coming to you over and over again, giving you more and more deposits, taking more and more loans, advances, and at the same time you have the ability to give him more products, right? More products. So he will generate more profits for you. At the same time, by giving referrals, by introducing new customers, he will contribute to grow to the growth of your business and earn more profits. So ultimate result of this, ultimate result of having a satisfied customer and getting repeat purchases and introduction of new customers will be more profits for a longer period. More profits for a longer period. Now, this is what an organization will search for, right? This is what an organization will search for. So when you get more profits for a longer period, you are achieving your objective of profit maximization and sustainability, pavatma, right? So profit maximization and sustainability. So this is how this particular two things, understanding then the customer and matching your products and services and creating a satisfied customer will support you in the longer run, right? Right? When you satisfy the customer, it's very important that you understand you do it at a profit, right? You don't satisfy the customers at a loss. So you have to obtain the payment for the service offered and get profits, right? So basically, you should always remember these entire three things, right? Not only the three things: understand and anticipate the needs and wants of the customer, provide a superior service better than the competitor. By doing that, make sure that you obtain payment for the service offered and get profits. Now, you can satisfy a customer by giving everything free also, right? So you can basically make a person happy and smiling by reversing interest, reversing charges, right? But we are not looking at that part. We are not telling you to reverse charges, give him everything free, right, at the cost of the bank, right? We are not telling you that. We are telling you, okay, do all these things by making sure that you earn a reasonable profit from the customer, right? Right. So now you understand why it is so important to create satisfied customers and how it will generate you more and more profits, right? Fine. So let's go to the next one. So we say profitability in the case of CRM is determined in the light of lifetime value of the customer to the organization. Right? Now we are coming to a very important word, lifetime value of the customer, right? And taking into account the income and expenses associated with each customer and their respective transactions over time, right? So you basically look at the lifetime value of the customer and you are taking into account the expenses associated with the customer and their respective transactions over time. So basically, you have to incur a cost to acquire clients. It's not coming to you free, right? I'm sure that all of you will incur a cost to acquire clients. Now, when you invest a cost to acquire a client, you can divide that into the lifetime of that customer staying with you in order to see what the benefit of that particular investment. Right. Okay. So it's like basically planting a tree, right? So for you to plant a tree, you may have to spend some money to buy the plant and then basically plant it, water it, put fertilizer, and basically make sure that it will grow, right? So you have to invest a lot of resources for a plant to grow, right? For the plant to grow. So after it grows up, it will start giving you fruits and the benefits for a longer period as long as the plant is there, right? So the relationship with the customer is also like that. Initially, you will have to invest a lot. You will have to work on acquiring new clients by advertising, convincing, giving them more and more gifts, offers, discounts, promotions, and get them come to the bank and open a relationship, right? So it is not easy for you to acquire. It will cost you a lot, right? Acquisition is not free. Now, even you look at your branch, for you to get a new customer, even for you to get someone in your locality to visit your branch, you have to do a lot of things, right? So you basically have your bank from the head office, they will do advertising, they will do brand building, they will do PR. Now all these things will create a positive image towards your bank and the brand, right? But nevertheless, the customers will not come to you just because you have put an advertisement. They will not come running to you just because you have put a paper article. They will not come running to you just because they listen, they hear an ad or a discussion about your bank, something positive in the TV, radio. They will not come running to your branch, right? So they will generate a positive impression. So you have to put an effort also. You sometimes have to do your street campaigns where you go and distribute leaflets. Sometimes you have to go door-to-door selling, right? So you go from door to door explaining about your products and inviting them to come to the bank and open accounts. Sometimes you may have to basically visit certain corporate customers, do presentations, attend to their meetings, convince them, and a lot of things, right? So you basically will have to spend a lot of time, effort, money in order to capture clients, right? In order to capture clients, right? So once you do that, there is an investment that you have incurred to get a customer. So whoever the customer that is opening an account, you have done an investment. And even at the time of opening an account, you will have to explain him more about what your products are, your bank procedures, because they are new to your bank, right? And then how to get things done and all sort of things. There are a lot of inquiries from you when they are new customers. So you have to spend more time. At the same time, you may have to incur time to fill his details, basically capture his photo, scan his documents, and open accounts. And then basically your time is wasted and your computer resources all not wasted, actually spent, right? So you spend a lot of time, effort, and money to grab the client, new client. So this particular investment you make, how long it will last? Now that is the question, right? If the customer, now let's say that you have spent 5,000 rupees to acquire a customer. Now, if that customer stays with you for 1 year and goes off, that 5,000 you have to earn from him within 1 year, right? But if the customer stays with you for 10 years and goes off, you basically have to earn 500 rupees from the client for every year for you to break even, right? But if the customer stays with you for over 20 years, 250, 30, 40 years, it's 125. So if you really look at, longer the customer stays with you, easier for you to recover your initial investment to acquire a client, right? So that is one way of looking at it, right? On the other side, now as long as the customer remains with you, he will generate profits for you, right? So if you really look at the customers who has come to your bank when they are kids, right, and they have opened a small savings account with you, and over a period of time, they will grow. They will finish their schooling, then they will find jobs, and they will go to the entry level, and then they will go to a higher management, and then sometimes they might end up as directors of certain companies. So over that period of lifetime, the whole period, they may stay with you, bank with you, from the day that they have come to your bank as a child, right? So how long you will keep a customer will determine how much profit you will earn from him and the income that you will earn from him. So therefore, it's very important that you focus on customer, not as just a transaction that you do or a short time having a relationship only for today, but you have to look at the customer as a person who will generate value for you during his entire lifetime. So when a kid comes to you, you're not looking at this fellow is a kid and I'm trying to do a transaction. No. you are looking at a kid who will generate you much higher deposits and revenue as a director one day, after 10 years, after 20 years, after 30 years, right? So basically, you look at him as a relationship for 30 years, relationship for 50 years, right? So his value is not just 1,000 or 2,000 rupees that he put as the deposit for you in a minor saving. His value is much, much more, right? So when you look at the value, the attitude of you need to change from looking at the present value or what you obviously see to look at the value of a customer in terms of the lifetime value of the customer. How much value this customer will generate to me over the lifetime of our relationship. Now it's very important that we understand these two concepts. So let's look at it separately. So if you really look at customer lifetime value, we can define it as the value of the entire stream of purchases that a customer would make over a lifetime of patronage. So he is going to stay with you for a longer time, and then the entire lifetime he's going to earn, he's going to give you income, right? Right, okay, fine. So we were talking about the customer lifetime value, right? So basically, if you really look at a simple sense, let's look at it from with an example, right? Okay, let's say that let's take a very easy example. Let's say that there is a customer who goes to McDonald's. McDonald's now, this is my I would say my example also. Now I used to go to McDonald's to have ice cream, right? So at that time, let's say 50 rupees, right? 50 rupees is an ice cream. So when I go
It's
to
11 o'clock.
McDonald's to have this ice cream, it tasted very nice, right? So I liked the product, and it actually fits into my taste. And I starts to go to McDonald's, let's say 2 times per week, right? 2 times per week, right? So at least 2 days in average, I go to them, right? So if you look at it in that way, okay, I'm going to spend 2 rupees 50 per week with McDonald's. So if you really look at the month as I have 4 weeks in a month. So for a month, I will spend basically 4 times, right? So 50 rupees per week, twice a week, 50 rupees twice a week. And then for a month, that you have to multiply it by 4, right? 4 weeks, right? And then basically we have 12 months for a year. Now if I do this consistently, it is my consistent behavior. So for a year, what I give to them need to be looked at by multiplying it by 12, right? So this is the situation. So weekly I eat 2 ice creams, so that basically for a month I will eat 8, and for a year I have to multiply it by 12. So if you really look at it, 50 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 12, right? So basically I will spend with them 4,800 rupees for that year, right? So this is my start of the relationship. First year I'll be doing this, right? Now let's say that I go on and I grow, and I think I was doing this for more than 5 years without doing anything, right? So then I would say more than 5 years I had the same behavior. So what is the revenue that I generated for them for 5 years, right? 5 years I have generated for them 24,000. 24,000. Then after 5 years, basically, I started to eat other products also, because my income improved and I started to eat other products also. Now now I spend the money for their burgers and then other stuff. So basically, my spending for them for a let's say for a month, I am spending about now let's say 2,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, right? 2,000 per month. So if it is 2,000 per month scenario, then when you look at 1 year, it is, you have to multiply it by 12. So basically, I'm spending with them 2,000 multiplied by 12. I'm spending 24,000 with them per year, right? 24,000 with them now per year. This is earlier scenario for the entire 5 years. I have spent only 24,000. Now for a year, per year, I'm spending them 24,000 to them, right? So from the 6th year, my income income from me has increased for 24,000. And let's say that I have continued this for another 2 years, right? 2 years. So then after in the 8th year, my income from me to them is virtually around 48,000, right? 48,000. So if you really ask me, okay, what is the total income McDonald's have got from me for the 7 years? So it should be 48,000 plus 24,000. Now let's say after 2nd year, my income has grown and I have married and I have kids and all the stuff. So my spending will go up. Now, right now, let's say that I'm spending 4,000 rupees per month, right? So if that is the case, per year, I'll be spending 48,000, right? For per year, I'll be spending 48,000 with them. Sorry, 4,000 into 12, right? 48,000, right? So 48,000 with them. So if I continue this behavior for let's say 10 years, then I be basically giving them 480,000. 480,000. Right? So if you really look at the whole scenario, 480,000 plus 24,000 plus 48,000. Basically, after 17 years, basically I have given business for 552,000 for McDonald's. 552,000 for McDonald's. So first I went there to take an ice cream, right? So they give me a good service and then gave me a good product. So I'm satisfied. So what happened? I started going to the McDonald's repeatedly. So when I go to repeatedly, I have taken only one ice cream for 5 years. Ice cream for 5 years, right? So if they would have looked at me as a useless fellow, this fellow only comes for ice cream, useless fellow. Then when I got my job and when I started to go to buy more, they would have lost me. They would have lost me at this stage. So they won't get this income. And so when I'm spending 2,000 rupees, if they think, okay, I'm not that valuable, they may not get this income. Now this is only for 17 years. Now let's say 17 years I have a family and I have grown up and I go to a better position, better income. Then my spending with the McDonald's will go up, right? So I will start taking my friends. I'll take my family. I'll celebrate my birthday there. I will take parties there. So what my spend will go up, right? So basically over the time, if I have, let's say that after 17 years I die, so they have, when I go to them to take an ice cream, they should not look at me as a 50 rupee business, but actually 552,000 is my value. So you can basically take the net present value and see the value at present, right? So, so what we say is, when you look at the lifetime value means it is the time, right? So let's say the time until two things happen. What are the two things? Until customer die. This is the end of the relationship. Customer die, right? The second scenario is company closure. Right? So you basically have to look at when you look at the lifetime relationship. Basically, you look at two things: the relationship that the company is going to develop today, the relationship that the company is going to develop today until the customer die or the company closes. So any of these two events trigger, the relationship is over, right? Even if the customer die or your company is closed, the relationship is over. So until such time, what is the value of this customer? What is the value of the customer, right? From the day that he opens the account or opens the relationship with you until the person dies or the company is closed. Now we call this the lifetime value of the customer. So as you see, the lifetime value of a customer may be a very significant one or very higher one compared to the short-term value that you see at present, right? So this is in line with you as well. Now, when it comes to your bank, you might have experienced this. There can be people who are joining. Basically, let's take the credit card. It's a very easy example to talk about. Now, let's say that a person starts a job. So he starts a job and then he will go into the job and earn a small salary. So he will come to you. You will give him a silver card, right? Silver card with a smaller limit. So he will start spending that money. So then over a period of time, he will start growing up, right? So he will get promotions, he will go to better prospects, better positions, his income will improve, then he will have more spending, because from a bachelor, then he will marry, then he will have to spend for two, then he will get kids, now he has to spend more, his lifestyle changes, so he will go to more branded stuff. So over a period of time, the customer will have both income and expenditure growth, right? Now, when that is growing, it in turns gives you more and more businesses. So he initially he may have taken only a card, but then he will come to you to open an account, salary account, and then he might come to you for a personal loan. He might come to you then for a leasing facility. He might come to you for a housing facility. Then he might come to you to open minor savings account. He might come to you to talk about his child's investment plan. He might come to you to take an education loan. So over a period of time, he will give you more business also, right? And for a longer period, he will start generating business. So what this concept is telling you is that the customer who comes to you and in front of you, don't look at his present transaction and present value and decide the value of the customer, right? You have to have a longer term thinking as to what value this customer will generate to me over a longer period, rather than looking at it at a short term value, right? So this is what the lifetime concept is talking about, right? So if you really look at the explanation, customer lifetime value, the value of the entire stream of purchases that a customer would make over a lifetime of patronage. Now, lifetime, what is the definition for lifetime? Lifetime is until the death of the customer or the closure of the company from the day that you start the relationship, right? So when we patronage, how much value we will generate? So person who comes to you and put 1,000 rupees and open a savings account, he may generate you millions during his lifetime value, right? So that's why we say don't underestimate any customer. Don't look at a customer by the initial deposit. Don't look at the customer by looking at only the present scenario, present context, but have a long-term view, long-term thinking as to how much value we will generate by getting into the customer lifetime value concept, right? So with this, we also have to talk about the customer equity concept, right? Now, customer equity is the total combined customer lifetime value of all the customers of the company, right? So total combined customer lifetime value of all the customers in the company. So we look at it and then we say this is our customer equity, right? So these are the two concepts under customer lifetime value and customer equity, right? Now, let me come to you to discuss what is your view of the concept we discussed and the practical things, whether you have encountered similar stories. Now, the story that I told you about the McDonald's with regard to me is a true story, because I used to go to them only to have an ice cream, right? But later I started giving them more and more businesses, and my lifetime still there, so I'm still continuing giving them businesses, right? Similarly, I remember how they have basically built up a relationship with me. Every time I go, they give a super service, and one incident actually made me really stick with them. So one day I went to them, basically with a bad mood, right? And I wanted to have a coffee, and when I was, they gave me the coffee, and they wanted me to make my coffee, and they gave me sugar and stuff at that time. So I was trying to make my coffee, and then I was trying to break the sugar packet. Accidentally, I touched the coffee, and then the coffee spilled over, and then basically
It's 11:15.
it is my fault. So I didn't have much money also at that time, so I was really worried. Then I was thinking, okay, I'm in a very bad mood, came to have a coffee, that also got ruined. So I was very disappointed, right? And you know what happened? The supervisor, he came running to me, and then basically he said, sir, what happened? So I said, okay, it's my fault, so no problem. Then I was actually to stand up and go away, but he said, no, don't worry, you stay here, go to the other table, sir, stay there, and I'll give you another coffee. And he actually gave me a coffee free of charge. He actually gave me a coffee free of charge, and he said, don't worry, I know that it is you have not done it intentionally, so this is complimentary from us. And actually really changed my mood, and I was very, very happy, and that generated a lot of loyalty towards that particular outlet, and I always ensured that I visit that outlet most of the time, and basically built a very good relationship with them over the periods, right? So sometimes certain small things that you do and certain small moments that you create as positive moments for the customer, or the emotional favors that you do may generate a longer strong relationship, and will you will profit out of the lifetime value of the customer. So that is an experience with me. Now, when it comes to your practical experience also, I'm sure that you have a lot of experience with regard to the customer lifetime value. If anyone can share it with the group, so that would be better. Rangana, do you have any experience like that where the customers have started very small, but over a period they have started growing and giving you more business?
Yeah, there are many examples. One customer which I had in a branch he was starting his business. So actually, he didn't know he was an import-oriented customer who was involved in importing Dell branded servers and IT equipment like. So when he came to me for their first facility, actually they didn't know even what is the facility that they should request from the bank either permanent OD or LC limit or any such, but with the relationship with our expertise and our support, although they initially came for a permanent OD, later on we gave them LC limits and loans, credit cards, and many products. Right now, they are one of the main customers of that particular branch who is doing really well, and still at any banking need, they will first come to us and discuss, and, even though they are banking other banks as well right now, but it was a very pleasant experience as a bank to see a customer growing from a small step to being a huge customer right now.
Yeah, that's a good example, Rangana. Thank you for that. And I think Hasanangi, you were in CRM, right? You were handling customers. What is your view about the concept we just discussed, customer relationship and the lifetime value of the customer? Harishangi.
Yeah. At the moment, like that, there are few customers started like small with the small bit and pieces like that. So based on the relationships, and they have increased their portfolios based on that. They have introduced their family members. Likewise, we have gone through certain experiences. In addition to that, there are customers, depends on the relationship, they have taken other facilities like lease, even for to buy a vehicle or anything, they are started to take leases and other several products, not only to the particular product. Will be canvassing the customer and convince the customer, even if the other competitors rates are a little bit comparatively little better rate, even based on the customer relationship, we can satisfy the customer with the additional value of the product, like we can add some other services as well to convince the customer. And in the same side, in the liability and the asset side, we may help the customer also, and it's lead to grow the business of the bank as well. So there are a lot of experiences we had based on the relationship. It's full of relationship that we are maintaining to the customer.
Thank you, Harishangi. I think you're spot on that. Do you think that the lifetime value concept is a good concept, or do you all look at it?
Yeah, obviously, because it depends. Because if we will be considering the lifetime value, there are some certain situation we have to decide whether we can go with little extra value to give the customer because of the lifetime value. We will be considering the lifetime value. Based on that, sometimes we may go a little more to give a benefit to the customer. But in the another side, we have to look on our bank profit as well.
Yeah, 100% right. Sometimes when you take decisions, you sometimes waive off some charges, some commission, right? Give some more, little bit of more preference. Not only looking at the present relationship, but considering how he will grow. For example, if there is a intern who's studying to become a doctor and comes to you, you might sometimes offer a credit card with a higher limit, or basically give him a free card for the first year, not by looking at his present stuff as a university student studying to become a doctor, but looking at his lifetime value when he grows up and becomes a doctor, and how he will generate value for you, right? So you're not looking at present value, but you're looking at the lifetime value. Right. Thank you, Harshangi. I think we have Laksara. Laksara, you are there? Laksara?
Yes, Mr. Badian.
Hi, how are you? I think
Fine.
you joined in the middle of the class, right?
Yes, I was unable to at the beginning.
Right, no worries. So make sure that you go to the beginning and see the recording. Anyway, Laksara, what do you think about the customer lifetime value?
No, exactly. That is one of the main requirements when we are dealing with customers. In my project also, we are working with many SME sector businessmen. So we are always trying to uh, give them the support and the advising to grow up them to their business purpose and also their personal matters when they are coming for us. So we are always trying to give them, and we are trying to keep continuing that relationship for the till they till they want us. That's my view.
Thank you, Laksara. Laksara, so if you are into SME, you may have come across some very good examples. If you, without mentioning names of the customers, will you be able to tell us some example that you have come across in the
No,
SME sector?
actually, we recently started this project, so at the moment I don't have that much experience to share with you. I hope in the future I will be able to share with you.
Right, that's great. Fine. So I think you all are very clear on the concept, right? Uh, so let's look at it. Let's go forward. So basically, even you can calculate the lifetime value of a customer by looking at the future purchases by doing an estimate of future purchases and the income the customer may generate to you in the future, right? So you can basically ask yourself, okay, what could be the income this customer will generate to us today, and what will be our estimate or the valuation that he will generate in future years, in the second year, third year, fourth year. Likewise, you can look at, okay, for 20 years, 30 years, right, based on the life expectancy of the country, and then looking at the customer. So basically you can say, okay, for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, this is the value that this customer will give to us, and discount it and see what is the value of the customer at the present. Right. So the ultimate aim of CRM is to establish, nurture, and sustain long-term customer relationships to maximize profits whilst achieving a sustainable competitive advantage. So what is the ultimate aim? To establish, nurture, right, and sustain long-term customer relationship. What is the aim? Why you are doing it? Why are you having a sustaining or having a long-term relationship? To maximize profits while achieving a sustainable competitive advantage, right? Now, how CRM is generating sustainable competitive advantage? How CRM is generating sustainable competitive advantage? Very important. Before I tell you, can anyone now, out of the lessons that out of the discussion we have had, can someone tell me how CRM is generating sustainable competitive advantage? Anyone? Sorry, I think the mic was muted, right? So you didn't hear something. Right, okay, so we say the ultimate aim is to establish, nurture and sustain long-term customer relationships to maximize profits whilst achieving a sustainable competitive advantage. So it has very good insights. The ultimate aim is, what is it? Establish, basically develop, nurture and sustain long-term customer relationships. Now, why are you doing it? You are doing it to maximize profits whilst achieving sustainable competitive advantage. Now, this gives us a very important word, that is CRM is giving us a sustainable competitive advantage. Now, can someone in the class basically give your view how CRM is giving sustainable competitive advantage? So we'll move to Chaminda. Chaminda, you are there? Chaminda? Chaminda Lakruwa. Dilshani? Dilshani, are you in the class? Dilushe? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hi. You are there, right?
Hello, sir.
Hi. I'm pronouncing it right. You are Dilushe, right?
Dilushe.
Dilushe, no? Right.
Yes, sir.
Dilushe, what is your answer? Now, if I ask you, okay, how, now we say CRM is generating sustainable competitive advantage. How is it generating? What is your view?
Through CRM, we can achieve customer trust.
It's
From trust,
11:30.
we can have sustainable relationship. So even in a bad environment, with trust, we can still sell our products to the customer.
Right. So basically, when you have the relationship, now when you compare it to the competition, how is it helping you with the competition, to fight with the competition?
Yeah, we can use customer relationship as an advertising tool as well, and it will also create a positive image, and it's good for word of mouth marketing also.
Apart from that, any other way? Those will certainly give you competitive edge. Any other way? Anyone else who wants to add on to what Dilusha said?
Making customer satisfied.
Yeah, satisfaction also is fine. Okay, you are right. But there is something more. We are talking about sustainable competitive advantage. Why do we use this word? Sustainable competitive advantage. Yes, Rangan.
I think experience created by the CRM of one institute is unique to another. So that unique features of the CRM, which is experienced by the customer, will create a competitive advantage over others. And certainly, if the customer is happy on the results, he will certainly there will be sustainable business with the customer.
Right. Thank you, Rangan. And thanks for expressing your views. Now, sustainable competence, now you have to understand these words very right. Sustainable means you can keep it for over a longer period. Competitive advantage is something that you give where the competitors find it difficult to match, right? So sustainable competitive advantage is an advantage you have as a company where the competition finds it difficult to match for a longer period, right? So how you will get it is basically when you have satisfied customer where they have developed a bond or a relationship with them, and where you have generated loyalty, it is something unique, as Rangan said, which the other competitors may not be able to replicate easily. They can't replicate. They can't replicate anything else, but then they can't replicate relationships easily, right? So relationships are very unique, right? So that is why we say it's a sustainable competitive advantage where competitors find it difficult to replicate easily, right? Fine. CRM, right? Very important. You have to understand CRM is not a system, but a philosophy, right? CRM is not a system, but a philosophy. By combining the abilities to respond directly to customer requests and to provide the customer with a highly interactive, customized experience, companies have a greater ability today to establish, nurture, and sustain long-term customer relationships than ever before. The ultimate goal is to transform these relationships into greater profitability by increasing repeat purchase rates and reducing customer acquisition costs. It is how we do business, right? This is how we do business. Now, philosophy, if you ask, philosophy is all about how you operate. The philosophy is not a system, right? So it's not something A, B, C, D and interlink. No, nothing like that. It's a philosophy. It's basically everybody operates their business under that, right? So with that intention. So even if you ask from your frontline trainee staff member to the manager, they run the same concept. And basically, in simple sense, a philosophy is how you do your business, what you say, what you do, right? How you basically drive the behavior of the entire organization. Now that is a philosophy. The philosophy is basically in everybody's mind, and then everybody act, everybody talk, everybody work in that mindset, right? So basically, when you do business, it has to be your business philosophy. If it will say, okay, this is how we do business, right? So how we do business, our ultimate goal is to transform relationships into greater profitability by increasing repeat purchases rates and reducing customer acquisition costs. So basically, we are doing business based on relationships. So relationships should be the concern of everybody, concern of every day, concern of everything we do. So it has to be a philosophy. Now, if you really look at research by Frederick Ishold and Earl Sasser, Sasser of the Harvard Business School show most customers are only profitable in the second year that they do business with you. Now, right? This you can argue with me on this finding, and we can obviously talk about it. But what research has found is that they may not be profitable in the first year itself, but they start to give you decent, reasonable profits from the second year onwards, right? And further, they say that there's a dramatic increase in profits from small increase in customer retention rates. That means if you increase the retention rate by a small percentage, it will increase income by a higher proportion, right? For example, in his study, he has said increasing the retention rate by 5%. So if you increase the retention rate by 5%, it will have 95% impact on the net present value delivered by customers when it comes to advertising agencies, and 35% when it comes to software, right? So 5% increase will generate a value of about 95% to 35% in his study, as he says. So that means, in very simple logic, if you increase retention rate by a small number, the impact of it is much higher than the retention percentage, right? So that means even if you increase the retention rate by 1%, it will have a higher impact, let's say approximately 10% on your revenue, or basically the value. Yeah. So this shows how valuable the retention is, right? Now, as he has said in the research, and the other research has found, now there is a higher cost to get a customer and service the customer in the first years. Right? So your cost is high. Why? Because he's pretty new to you, right? And he will demand a lot of things, and he doesn't know your culture. He doesn't know how to work with you, and you also have to spend a lot of time convincing the customer, basically telling him about your bank, telling him about procedures, winning trust, right? And explaining products, right? All sort of things, building relationships. So the cost of a customer at the initial stage is much higher. But over the lifetime, when the lifetime increases, the cost will come down. Why the cost is coming down? Because now he knows the procedure. So it is easy to convince him, easy to tell him things. So you will start spending less time, less effort, less money to keep the relationship. So gradually over a period of time, over the lifetime, gradually the cost of servicing the client will go down, right? This is the research finding. So initially the cost of servicing a client will be high, but over the lifetime that cost will go down, right? Now while the cost is going down, the income will increase. So as such, profitability over the period of lifetime of a customer will continue to increase. Right? So how the profitability will increase? How the profitability will increase? For the basically now when you say it will increase, you have to see, okay, how is profit increasing? Either the income has to increase or the cost has to come down. These are the two variables. Either the income will increase or the cost will come down. These are the two variables. So CRM should support any of these variables to move, right? So how is it happening? Now, if you look at based on the research that we just discussed, when you have the CRM and when you develop a good relationship with the customer over a period of time and you retain him for a longer period, what will happen? The cost of servicing the client will come down and your initial investment will be distributed for a longer period, right? So basically your cost of servicing the client or the cost attached to the client is gradually reducing over a period of time. So gradually it is reducing over a period of time. So cost will reduce. Let's look at the income side. In the income side, now he is giving you repeat business. Now he has had a deposit. He is renewing the deposit. Now he is coming and putting more and more deposits with you. He has taken one loan and he comes to you for another loan, and he comes to you for to renew the loan. And so he gives you repeat business. On the other side, you can cross sell and give him more profit, more products. Right? Now he initially started with you with a savings account. Now he has taken a current account, the credit card, saving the housing loan, personal loan. So you are actually cross selling your products, right? And then sometimes with the growth of the customer, the relationship you might upsell also, right? So he initially started with a silver card. Now you have given him a gold card. Now you have given him a platinum card, right? So he initially started with a normal account. Now you have given him a professional account, right? Likewise, you have given him more value, and you will start earning more value from him also, right? So now all these things will gradually increase income. Now you can see when you run the CRM philosophy, basically when you operate your business under the CRM concept, you are actually with time, in the growth of the relationship, reducing cost and increasing revenue, right? Reducing cost and increasing revenue. And when you have a concept which helps you to reduce cost and increase revenue, that means it is giving you more profit, right? So the concept itself is generating you a profit, more profits over a period of time, right? So therefore, we say it's a very profitable and a very positive concept, right? So if you really look at studies done by consultants such as McKinsey, they have shown repeat customers generate over twice as much gross income than new customers, right? So repeat customers generate over twice as much gross income than new customers. So it is very much in line with our thinking and the research that has been done over the in local and also in foreign context, right? So if you really look at, if you ask me, okay, what is the purpose of the relationship and how the relationship is run, right? And what they,
It's
what is the
11:45.
aim of CRM, stuff like that. I must tell you that the aim of CRM is to move a prospect to an advocate. Move a prospect to an advocate, right? So now it's very important for us to understand who these people are. Now, even below this, there is another level that we call the suspect, right? Suspect. So we call that person the suspect, right? Suspect doesn't mean sakakarya, right? Suspect here is something else, right? So I would say, okay, a suspect to an advocate, right? Or prospect to an advocate, right? So now with this, we come to the concept of discussing the customer loyalty ladder, the customer loyalty ladder. So under which we say, okay, the whole purpose of CRM, the purpose of customer relationship management is to capitalize on relationships and basically to move a client from the level of suspect to a advocate, right? Now let's look at it and discuss about it. Right, now first let's see who is a suspect. So our first one is to talk about this suspect, right? Right, who is a suspect? Suspect is a person actually who has the potential, or who has the basically who has a need to get the solution offered by your company. Let's say in that way, right? Okay, this person is a person who has the need to get solutions offered by your company, but he has no idea about your organization or about your products, right? So basically, now let's say you have a person where he has got a new baby. Now, as a result of the new baby, this person is having a requirement to open a minor savings account, but this person has no idea about the products you sell or about your bank, right? So he is a suspect. Now this person has a requirement. There is a possibility for you to convert him to a customer. You have an offer for him, but he has no idea about your bank or the products you sell, right? So now this is the first stage. Now at this stage, what are you supposed to do? Now you are supposed to give him information, right? So the suspect will learn about your products from various sources. Now if you look at how the consumer behavior part, first thing is that the customer realizing that he has a need, right? So someone, let's say that you have a new baby or in the hospital, someone comes and say, now you have to open a minor savings account. You look at the future of the baby and you open a minor savings account. Somebody will come and tell you that. When that someone tells you, okay, open a minor savings account, now you have realized that there is a need, right? Okay, I have a kid, now I have to open a minor savings account. Now you have realized, okay, there is a need, right? So once you realize that there is a need, then what happens is you will start searching. Okay, how can I satisfy my need? At that time, he will get exposed to different sources. Sometimes it can be the social circles, right? Whereas their parents, family, immediate family, extended family like the relatives, or else the peer groups like the friends, right? who will come and tell him, okay, go to this bank and open an account, right? So they will come and tell you about a particular bank and the products they offer. And they will say very simply, in a practical sense, they might come and tell you, May bank go down, May bank go here. If you go to this bank, they give you a higher interest. They might tell you, okay, you go and open an account in this bank, they have this product, and they will give you some gift, right? And they will give you the support you with the initial deposit. And in this bank, you can open with the contribution from the bank. So likewise, the immediate family and the social circle will start feeding you with information, so that now you are getting to know about the different banks and the products. Or else it can be the advertising. Right? So now he is having a thing, and then when he looks at the TV in the hospital room, he sees an advertisement from a particular bank advertising about minor savings account. Right. Then now he says, okay, this bank, that is a minor savings account. This is the brand. Now these are the benefits they offer, right? So he get information from these advertisements and he get persuaded, right? And then when he opens up a magazine or a paper, he might see your advertisement where you say, okay, minor savings account, and then you talk about the features, gifts, and the interest rates, so on and so forth, insurance covers, etc. And then they will see, okay, now this particular bank has the product, and this particular bank actually give these benefits, and then they will get to know about your products and the bank. So when you do communication strategy, and when you try to communicate your products, you ensure that these suspects who are actually having a need and the ability to purchase will get the exposure towards to the information related to the product and services and the bank, in order for them to get knowledgeable that there is a solution in this bank, right? There's a product in this bank. So once they get all these information and then get to know, they move from suspect stage to prospect stage, right? So earlier they were suspects. They had no idea about your products or the bank. So they had nothing to do with it. But then now they have got exposed to the marketing material or word of mouth from their social groups. And now they are aware that about the products and the bank, right? So now these prospects are people who are having the need and the ability to buy. Now remember, when it comes to a prospect, that person should have the need and also the ability. For example, we might have a need to buy a BMW, but we may not have the ability. So we are not a prospect to BMW. So if we might have a need, we might have a dream to buy it, and if someone tells, okay, we give you BMW free of charge, we will certainly grab it. But BMW is costly, right? So you need millions. So unless you have that amount of wealth, you don't have the ability to buy. So you have the requirement or the need to buy, but you don't have the ability to buy. So when you have the need and not ability, you are not a prospect, right? Then sometimes, for example, let's say that you want to smoke, but you are under 16 years, right? You want to buy liquor, but you are under 16 years. Now, there's a legal barrier. What the legal barrier? If you are 16, if you are not 18 years, you can't buy cigarettes and liquor. So you are prevented from purchase. So even though you have money, legally you are not allowed to purchase. So then what happens? Then you are not a prospect. You are not a prospect. Why? Due to the legal reasons, you don't have the ability to buy. So there can be a need, but there is no ability. So then you are not a prospect, right? So both has to be there, right? Now, for example, if you are talking about minor savings account, you must get married and have a baby to get that need most of the time, right? Unless you have that, if you are a bachelor boy and you don't have any close relatives getting babies, you are not a prospect because you don't have that need. Sometimes after you do a PhD, now you are a doctor, you are a doctorate, and you are not a prospect to do a BSc degree, right? So BSc degree is a product, lower product, right? So you are trying to canvas BSc degree, a person having a PhD is not a prospect, not because he doesn't have the ability to do it or basically get enrolled, but the fact is that he doesn't have a need, right? So both has to be there, the need and the ability. So the moment the need and the ability is in place, and that person has the information about your bank and your products, you consider such people as prospects, right? Prospects, right? So you need to approach these prospects and give more and more information about your product, services, bank, and also do persuasion to convince them that you are the best, right? So a lot of persuasion and dissemination of information is required to convert prospects into customers, right? So the prospects will go through a lot of dissonance because they will get exposed to competitor advertisements also. So they will go through a process of evaluation. They will be evaluating, okay, your product and the competitor product. What is the value I get from this bank and the other bank? So they are people who are in doubt, right? They are people who are in doubt. So they are considering where to go, whether to start the relationship with you or some other bank, whether to buy your product or someone else's product. So in this scenario, when it comes to prospects, you must not take them for granted because they are all having the need, having the ability, but they are considering various options, various offers, and they are not there. There's no guarantee that they will come to you, right? So therefore, you have to at this stage spend a lot of time, lot of energy, lot of resources to convince the prospects that you are the best, that you give the best solution, right? So once you do that and convince the prospect will become a customer, right? So prospect will become a customer. So even if you look at this suspect part in a practical sense, for example, you open a branch in a particular city or a village, and now the villagers or the people in the city doesn't know about your product or the bank. So initially you have to do advertisements, campaigns to make them understand, okay, this bank is coming to our city, this bank is coming to our village, this bank has these solutions, products. So then afterwards you have to do a lot of things to get them onto the branch, right? It's not easy to get people coming to your branch. People coming to your branch itself is a big achievement, right? Because even though you open a branch, even though you do advertisement, the people will not just come to you, right? So they are also spending their time, effort, and money to come to your branch. So they will not just come to your branch. So getting people in your locality to visit your branch itself is quite challenging, right? Just to visit is challenging, right? So even if you get someone coming to you with the other bank check, it is really worth, right? Someone who's not a customer coming to you is really worth that, because you get an opportunity to talk to him, right? So unless you get them into the branch or you go to them, it's very difficult for you to convince. So it's very important that you get at least people coming to your branch, right? So once you get this prospect, after a lot of effort, you can convert them to customer. Now, who is a customer? Under this definition of customer loyalty ladder, we consider customer as a person who has started some relationship with you. In the banking terms, in the banking industry, we consider a customer as a person who has started an account relationship with you, right? Account relationship with you, some account, any account, right? So he has just come and started the relationship. So you basically do your screening process also. So you do your KYC, you do your AML, you go through your compliance processes, and then you will open an account. So the moment you open an account, he becomes your customer. So customer in simple terms, we can say the person who has done business once, who has just started business with you, right? So the person who comes to your branch, getting to know about your products and the services, you give him information, you persuade him, and you convert prospect into a customer. So customer is a person who has done a transaction with you, who has done business with you once. Right? So the moment he does it, he becomes a customer. Right? Now this particular customer at initial stages will be very choosy and very like not very convinced about you, right? So they will look at every simple thing you do, right? Even from the greetings, from how you treat, because you're not familiar to them. You're a stranger because someone has told about you and he has come. So basically, there's no relationship with you and the person. So everything that you do matters a lot, right? Everything that you do matters a lot, right? How you talk to him, how you treat him, and how you how much time that he has to spend. Everything matters, right? So the new customers are very very different from the loyal customers, right? So they start evaluating. So now, if we get satisfied with the service that you offer, now how is he getting satisfied? Now he has got some information about your organization, about your bank, about the products you offer, and about the benefits that your products will give, and also about the service levels and how fast the things will happen, all sort of things, right? So when the customer comes to your branch, he comes with the pre-loaded perception towards the service that he will get. Okay? The expectation, right? I would say expectation. So he has an expectation, okay? How fast this will happen, what will be the cost, what will be the convenience level, all these things he has set his expectations, right? So with these expectations, he comes to you. And when you give the service and when you deal with the customer, if the customer finds the expected service level and the perceived service level that you have given is matching, then he gets satisfied. So when he gets satisfied, what he will feel, he create a positive image about you, positive perception about your products, services, and then they will start building relationships. And they think, okay, this is a bank where I can build a relationship, right? This is good. This is a place where I can come again, right? So what will happen is they will start to come again and again to your branch. Like the person who has just opened a savings account and who has got very satisfied about you, now he will come to you to open a fixed deposit account also, right? So then if he is very much satisfied with the service, later he might come to open a current account also, right? So he will say, okay, that bank is very convenient, so let me go and open my current account also there. Then he will say, okay, the service is really good, I am very happy, so let me take my personal loan and the credit card also from the bank. So likewise, he will start coming to you again and again. So when a customer comes to you again and again, repeatedly, we call such customers clients, right? So we use the word client, and client is a person in the loyalty ladder where he has a he has a good relationship with you and a positive attitudes, positive sentiment towards the services that you offer, bank and the product, right? So as a result of that, as a result of the satisfaction, he is coming repeatedly and giving you repeat business to you and to your bank branch, right? So now we call these people client. Now even in our banks, we have certain people who come to us repeatedly, right? So we look at them as clients. Now these people have a higher satisfaction level and basically the relationship level compared to the lower three. Now when you look at the lower three segments, this is more like new customers, right? So the emphasis in the lower three sections of the customer loyalty ladder is about new customers, right? So how you will make sure that your suspects will become prospects, and the prospects will become customers, and the investment that you put in terms of money, effort, and time to do that, right? And acquire profitable clients, profitable customers. So once you do the profitable customers, now here onwards that we are talking about the relationship levels, enhancing relationship. So you have the first level where the customer comes to you again for your services. We call that the client. So these clients, over a period of time, when you give them a very good satisfaction and service, what will happen is they will build a better image or emotion or sentiment towards you, and will start developing a stronger bond or a relationship with you, right? So basically now they are coming to you again and again, and at the same time they are increasingly getting a positive perception towards you, which is driving them to generate a positive attitude towards your bank and the products. Positive attitude towards your bank and the product. So this positive attitude is now helping them to create a stronger bond than previous with the product, right? With the brand, with the bank. So with this, what will happen is generally they will move from the client level to the supporter level. Now, supporter is a person who has a higher or a stronger relationship than a client with you, right? As the word says, the client maybe is satisfied, is having a relationship, but he will not basically support you on anything. But supporters are little active, because they will certainly, when you ask for support, they will give you the required support for you to get more business or grow, right? Now this is a situation where when you call a person and say, I want to do a campaign at your office, can you help me? Now he will help. But remember, now the supporter, the relationship level is such that here you need to ask support most of the time. They will not sometimes voluntarily come and give you support, but they will certainly support you as much as possible if you ask for it, right? So basically here you have to be a little more active to reap more benefit out of this relationship level. You cannot expect all the time the customer to initiate more value, right? So for example, if you take a simple example, now in this level a person, if you call him and say that I would like to come to your company and basically do a campaign, they will support you. They say, okay, don't worry, you come. I will make sure that I will talk to my boss, arrange a time for you, arrange a place for you, and then you can do your demonstration and selling in my office, right? Now, a client might not do it for you. Client might say, okay, I will direct you to our administration manager. I'll give you the number of our the boss to call him, right? So he will give you some number, or he will direct you, but he will not support you. But support is a person who will go and talk on behalf of you and who will give you some support so that you can grow business, right? So and they will also support you by giving positive referrals, right? So if someone asks them, okay, how about this bank? They say, its bank is good. Why don't you go there? I'm also happy about them. So they will start giving you positive word of mouth, positive reviews in the social media, positive referrals, so that these referrals will help you. Hello. Did someone speak to me? Did someone speak to me? Okay. So in this support level, they give you positive referrals so that they will help to build stronger image and also to get more new clients to you. Now, if you go to advocate level, which is one level higher above it, now it's a level where the customer will basically partner with you, right? So basically partner with you and will consider your bank is their bank, right? So these are the clients who come and tell you, make a mage bank, this is my bank, right? So they are not the shareholders or the owners of the bank, but they consider this their bank, right? So whatever happens to the bank is like happening to them, right? So it's part of their part of their life, right? So they are the people who come and tell you, because that now with these people will sometimes come and put you terms also. They say, what aim කරන්න බෑ මේක මගේ බැංකුව ඔයා මැනේජර් උනාට aim කරන්න බෑ. They go to that extent also, right? So they are worried about the brand, they are worried about the bank image, they are worried about how the service is given, and they are actually actively getting involved in supporting the bank. So these are the people who will not wait until you call. If they see an opportunity, they will call you. They will say, why don't you come to our organization and do a campaign? Why don't you approach this business person and get an account done? I will support you. So they will actively contribute to you, right? So this is a relationship level where the loyalty is so high, right? Loyalty is so high. This bond is so strong. So they are customers who will basically look for the growth and the development of your organization, and who will develop with that, right? So they become partners or the advocates, and they will actively give referrals, reviews, and basically they will start spreading positive word of mouth about your organization. So at this level, the supporter advocate level, loyalty is high, and when it comes to advocate level, the loyalty is so high, so that having such clients is actually a benefit or basically a super thing that will help you, right? So the aim of any bank is to move suspects to an advocate level, where the suspect at this stage have a very low loyalty, very low relationship with the organization, and when it comes to advocate level, their relationship and the loyalty level is so high, so that the bank will consider them as people who are generating more value as clients, right? So this is about the customer loyalty ladder. Now, as we have said, this whole aim of the CRM is explained here. The aim of the CRM is to convert a suspect into an advocate, right? Suspect into an advocate, and that is, as you see, is a process. It is not something that can happen overnight.
12:15.
Right? It is not something that will happen overnight, but it is a long process where you have to continuously engage, and where you have to continuously invest on, continuously work on, in order to develop the relationship and the loyalty level from the bottom to the top of the loyalty ladder, right? Fine. So when it comes to application, as now let's take a very simple example of your branch. Now, if you are in the branch, you may have a customer base, and in the customer base, you can find who are our customers, who are the clients, who are the supporters, who are the advocates, and approaching these different levels are different, right? Now, for a customer, you have to basically make sure that he is very satisfied, and you have to invest a lot of time and energy in order to convince him. For a client, it's completely different. For a supporter, it's completely different. Advocate approach is different. So your approach is completely different, and then you will see, okay, how to convert my customers to a client, and you take the client segment and you ask the question, okay, how I will convert these clients to supporters. Now then you look at the supporters of your branch, and the branch manager will think, okay, now these people are very supportive, they are having some strong relationships. How can I convert these people to an advocate, right? Where they will support me even without my my request, and who will help me to generate more profit. So basically, you will always ask the question, okay, how I will convert the person to the next level, customer to the client level, how I will convert client to the supporter level, then how I will convert supporter to the advocate level, right? So how I will basically take them through the loyalty ladder, so that I will get more profits, and at the same time stronger loyalty and the relationships with the customers, right? Now at the same time, the branch managers also have to look at the bottom three part also, right? So bottom three part tells you, okay, as a branch manager, you look at the whole locality or the geographical area that you cover, and you ask the question, okay, are there people who doesn't know about our bank, who doesn't know about our products? Now, sometimes not having knowledge may be the reason that they don't bank with you, because they don't know that you have it. They don't know that you offer this type of a service, right? So branch manager has to develop strategies, campaigns to reach such segments who are suspects, and make sure that they are educated and the knowledge is given to them with regard to your products and the organization, right? So that is a separate campaign that you have developed separate strategies, right? So you can have a lot of strategies like street campaigns, customer visits, new customer visits, right? And then some focused promotions, sponsorships given, right? PR activities. You can plan all these things. Even if you sponsor the Game Outdutsave, the New Year festival, that will actually get a lot of exposure towards your products and the bank among the community, right? So some PR activity, promotion, campaigns, these are all part of your strategy to reach suspects and educate them. Also, then see how to get prospects to convert into customers. Everybody who come who has knowledge about your bank, how will you convert them? Basically, can I give them an offer? Right? Can I tell them, okay, if you come to me within this month, I'll give you a card first year free, credit card first year free. Okay, I'll waive off the debit card fee. Okay, I'll give a initial deposit from my account, from the bank, right? Okay, if you open a minor savings account, we will put a deposit 100 rupees free, right? Right. So how do you do such persuasive, basically convincing activities where you will convert prospect into customers, right? And when there's a when a customer comes, when there's a person who started business, how will you develop the relationship, do the follow up, give him a call and ask, okay, are you satisfied? When will you come again, right? I would like to have a chat with you. Basically, look at the new customers that have come into the branch and give them a courtesy call. But these are all strategies to convert customers to come to you again and move them from customer level to the client level. So likewise, in each level, you have to develop your business strategies to move customers from to the next level, right? So it's the responsibility of the branch manager in the local level to develop local strategies to do this. And when it comes to the bank at the national level, to look at how their marketing strategies will help the branches and the bank to convert customers in the large scale to the higher levels, right? And what they will do to do that, right? So you can look at it as a bulk and also do it, right? So how you will convert your credit card base from clients to supporters, from a customer to a client, right? So likewise, you can look at the whole bank also. How do you will convert your professional savings account holders to become supporters? So you can look at segments and develop national level marketing campaigns also, but local level also the branch managers can capitalize on this concept. So this is a concept where you can apply in practice to see, okay, how I will generate more revenue profits out of this concept, right? So this is the practical implication of the customer loyalty ladder, right? Fine. So I think I should not move to the other part immediately, but I would like to ask your views about the customer loyalty ladder we just discussed. Fine. So let me refer this. Give me a second. Right, let me ask it from Chamind. Chamind, what is your view on the customer loyalty ladder? Have you come across any situation where you have done some strategies and stuff like that? Chamind? Chaminder. Chaminder is busy. Chaturanga. Chaturanga, you may have joined the.
Yes, sir. Actually, there was a power cut, so I could not join during.
Right. Anyway, glad to have you even at the latter stage.
Yes.
So look at the recording. Chaturanga, what is your view about the customer loyalty ladder?
Actually, sir, I could not follow the entire thing since I joined later. But looking at the ladder and the various stages of the ladder, I can assure you that in our bank there are various customers which fit into each category. So when it comes to the bank and the strategies and the whatever the events that we have planned, we have done certain things. Since we are a foreign bank and our presence is very small, it's not we have carried out certain things which is not very large. So certain things are not highlighted by many of the people.
Right.
And our target customer is also very small. So in that sense, we have done something. But that's what I have to say in this. So I could.
You're muted, Mr. Pathi.
Sorry about it. Devshani, I think you also joined the class and would like to get your view also on what we just discussed and the customer loyalty ladder. What do you think about it, Devshani? Devshani? There? I think she may be having a problem. Laksara, what do you think? What do you think about the loyalty ladder and what the discussion we have on the practical side of it? Laksara?
According to my experience, I think it is not only in the bank sector. This is a practical solution in any business, any kind of business.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we need to develop a good customer relationship and to gain more profit and gain more businesses from the businesses. We need to go through this ladder. That is my view.
Fine, that's great. So now let me leave you with a question. I would like you to take it down. The question is, I would like you to basically come and talk to me next week as to what kind of strategies you may have used in practice or you will find that is useful as a branch manager. Now imagine that you are a branch manager and how as a branch manager you will use the customer loyalty ladder to improve profits. Now this is an assignment where I will try to listen to all of you, and even if you are not in a bank, you might consider that you are whatever the business you are in, and basically you will have to tell me in a very short period how you will develop, how you will utilize the customer loyalty ladder to maximize profit and get the benefit out of it, and your different strategies where you will do to convert suspects into prospects and prospects into customers. The different strategies that you will suggest in order to move customers from one stage to another, right? So that is the assignment that I will leave with you, and next class we will have a discussion. It's very important that you attend to the class and get into the discussions, because then you don't have to study differently for the course. Now, as you can see, you will not get the knowledge if you don't participate for class. This is not something you can do by reading books. This is a very practical, pragmatic subject where you have to do it with discussions, right? So next week, your assignment is to basically talk to me and tell me how, as a branch manager, how you will use the customer loyalty ladder in order to improve profits and the competitiveness, and in under each stage what kind of strategies you will use to convert customers from one level to the next level or the higher level, right? So with this assignment we can close the class for today, And if you have any questions, you may ask now. Any questions? Right. If no questions, we will call it a day. Thank you very much.